to turn it on. Turn it. We about to turn it on. Turn it. We about to turn it on. 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 We about to turn it on. Go, 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 go. We about to turn it on. Turn it on. We about to turn it on. Turn it on. Turn it. We about to turn it on. Turn it. We about to turn it on. Turn it. We about to turn it on. 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 We about to turn it on. Go, 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 go. We about to turn it on.
You gotta know I'm all yours. But when I say what's that about, you start slurring your words. Tell me why you have to seem so distant when I'm holding you. Your fingertips are drifting away, and I fucking love how it hurts. Why do I, baby, why do I love the way you always leave me? Why do I, baby, why do I love the touch but never love
Welcome to Dire Bear Adventuring Company, where the biggest adventure is figuring out our own technical issues. Tonight, as always, we have Atlas playing Tane.
Ooh, yeah.
Working on a camera issue there, we have Maddie as Nara, who looks lovely. I love that little top. That's cute. We have Jason, who's playing Skippy. Also with camera issues, we also have V as Quentin, and Nain being played by Pelka. Captain Marilyn will be with us here shortly. As always, the captain has to let the ship get to a certain point out into the international waters before joining them. So we're just waiting for that. As you can tell tonight, we are playing again Alone in the Void, which I real quickly wanted to go over something that was picked up for me at one of the gaming conventions. Not a convention so much as like here's what's coming new, come pimp my product. And it is The Expanse. Now, if none of you are familiar with The Expanse, it is a sci-fi TV show on the Sci-Fi Channel, I believe, and it is a fantastic show. Probably one of the best out there. It deals with intrigue and expansionism and learning more about space and the control of different things, and it has been made into an RPG. If you can find this at your local gaming store, pick it up. It's really neat. It's not very thick, as you can see. It's rather tiny, but it is pretty much a complete rule set, including characters and things like that. For those of you who are curious and maybe joining us for the first time or the 17th time, well, we haven't had 17 shows, for the 9th time, and you're like, hey, what are you guys playing? We are using Traveller as our current system, and we're using Traveller in the same sense that we have a rule set that we're kind of using, but it's not 100% delved into. I didn't make them roll the characters up. No, I tortured them by making the characters, assigning it to them, so they had no idea what they were playing until I handed it out. Muahahaha. And while moments will get tense in the game, please keep in mind that outside of our characters, we are all friends and love each other. Or, at least in the case of Pelka, I have a healthy respect for him.
Damn, that's cold. Who you really are, Simba.
Who are you when no one's watching?
A blob.
I don't believe you exist. You're Schrodinger's gamer.
Every group has one.
That's right. We will do a real quick recap from last week. The orb has a name.
The orb.
Discovering that there was actually a way to open the device up using the X-ray scanning device inside of the medical bay. Some quick scan of the device, of the orb, was done. Come to find out that there was a seam, almost imperceptible, that allowed them to open the device up by pressing a panel. Led them to a monitor, or a little 6-inch screen that had information scrolling down as new information appeared at the top. The language was a base of ancient Sumerian, or in the similar vein along there. Using the Praetor's reserves of knowledge, they actually were able to decipher some of it. They were then actually able to translate it through careful plotting and moved it to English, or the common language that they share. Using this, they realized that they were able to log into the device and find out that its directives were threefold. The primary directive being that of navigation. It has an astrogation chart, so that makes sense. The secondary item was as a backup defense, or failover defense. The tertiary part of this was as a knowledge repository, much like the Praetor. They had to communicate by writing on the surface of the orb with their fingers. And after several interactions, using only their fingers to communicate no spoken word to the orb, it actually recognized Science Officer Collins because he had introduced himself as such. But yet there were other people writing on the surface of this device. So that brings to mind the question, how does it know his name? With the Tritomus, the name of the orb, responding, that's where we'll start. Blinking in front of you, Nain, is the cursor. And that says, "How may I help you?" Science Officer Nain Collinson. Not in broken English, but in perfectly written, phrased English language.
I forget. Do we have to type everything out, or
You still have to write everything that you know, as far as you know.
as far as we know? I'm just gonna say it out loud. How did you know that was me? Or this is me? See what happens.
Okay. You watch just a moment, and the screen reflects. There's a pause. You can tell it's processing. It's only a heartbeat, and it says, "Biorhythm metrics match whenever you wrote your name." And that appears on the monitor. There's a heartbeat, and then there's another message that appears. Request permission to interface with Praetor to use open communication lines.
Wait, no, I didn't know. Nara wrote my name in full. Or like insisted on that. That's what happened.
I thought you wrote your name in full. Oh, like he wrote Nain, you wrote Science Officer, and then Collinson on the other sides. Okay.
Yeah, so I was like, I wouldn't say my full name and title. That's not me. But no, that's what happened. I was trying to figure that part out. But you didn't say who you are yet.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
You both introduce yourselves.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Allowing the alien thing to control our to have access to our ship real quick is it doesn't always work out very well.
I don't know. He seems like a nice guy.
You're the high-ranking officer, I guess.
Last I checked, she was in her office or in her cabin.
Yeah, she went to her cabin. Remember? Yeah. Perfect timing.
That seems like a good plan.
I heard Captain. Hello.
Captain!
Everything's failing, Captain. We need your assistance.
What the hell did you do?
We need permission to let aliens do things.
Why would you even think that was sort of a good idea?
We sound incredibly lazy.
Wait, you mean that you've been communicating with this device this whole time, unbeknownst to the captain? Huh.
I just
I was in my room drinking tea, and I come back, and y'all are just talking with some orb. I don't know what the fuck.
Chain of
Yeah,
command.
more or less.
Nothing to you people.
Chain of command too?
Thing.
Never heard of her.
Command means nothing to you people.
Honestly.
Quentin and Tane just walked in, if I remember correctly.
Hey there, Tane. What's up with your camera?
Things. I'm
Pile of
working
dirt.
on it.
Oh, okay.
It's
Just
just
wondering.
a big brown spot.
I am.
Okay. You're so valid. Uh-huh. Sounds a lot like a movie I saw once.
Ah!
Who died at the end, I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure
wow.
everyone was murdered.
By the ship.
You okay? Did that come out of
Like
the nose?
I expected it, but I should just stop drinking throughout this whole entire stream. This is what I'm getting.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing about AI. This in particular, we don't know what its limitations are, as far as its free will. So let me just propose this. Let's say we do let it interface with it, and then it goes rogue. What then? Also, one question. Why are we communicating with the orb in the first place?
Yeah.
Back up.
It's the what?
It's the map.
It's a map.
It's the map. It's the map. It's the map. It's the map.
At the speed of sound.
I mean,
My little feetsies.
to be completely fair and respectful to you all, I don't question a lot of what goes on here anymore because, honestly, I don't know.
You need time to do other
What?
things with your life.
Mm-hmm.
Need to keep that mentality. Nope. I don't know the word. That's fine. We'll just leave it.
English
know
fail.
what?
Nope.
Never mind.
We're just gonna back out. Backspace. Just.
delete,
That's
delete,
fair.
delete, 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 delete.
Me whenever I talk about anything ever.
I tried.
You're doing great, sweetie.
All right. Are you allowing them to interface or not?
All right, so it's a map. Speaks English, and it learns.
You bet
Apparently.
your ass it does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I can. Just give me a second. I mean, I'll be right there. Also, I'm eating pancakes. Mm-mm.
Not allowed.
I'm doing it.
Pancakes on the job.
Mm-hmm.
Disgusting.
Captain
Bitch,
doesn't
I'm the
share.
captain.
I'm the fucking captain. I do what I want. I drink tea on the job. I eat pancakes on the job.
Womp.
Are
Apparently.
pancakes
Are
particularly
pancakes
British?
a British thing? I don't think they are. Yes.
Everybody drinks tea.
I don't think Foster is Foster English. I don't know.
Computers make.
Okay, I go down to the medical offices.
Okay, so you exit your and take a right and find yourself there in front of the medical office door. Take a deep breath, stride in like old Jane Wayne.
Mm-hmm. Guns a-blazing.
Pull pistols out.
I,
All right. You can see the orb is there on the floor. A panel has been moved out of the way, and there's a monitor, and it's currently flashing with a request to interface with the Praetor or ask to communicate with the Praetor for the open lines. I may drop from Roll20 for a second. Sorry.
Yeah, I was about to say, me too.
Looks like it's giving me feats. Anyways, you can see that it's requesting to interface with the Praetor so that it can access the open communication lines.
Okay. I'll allow that. However, I want to know this thing knows its own limitations. I'm going to ask it what it is not capable of doing.
That's fine.
Are you
Sorry.
okay?
Yeah. I'm just having a night
So,
tonight.
so you're asking the orb the limits of its limitations?
Yeah,
What it
basically.
What it can't do?
Are you going to go rogue? Are you? Can you do that? Yes or no? Answer me.
I cannot sing. I cannot play games. I know. I cannot install Flappy Bird. I cannot.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, then
I
we'll
don't
be fine.
need the
Let it
crew getting
interface.
distracted.
Are you asking it out loud?
Yeah.
There's a pause, like in the device. The cursor bumps one line, and then you see, "Unknown entity, please identify yourself. I am known as the Tritimus."
Sassy.
It
Not
doesn't.
creeped out?
It's text. A lot is lost in context.
Mhm.
It may be sassy. It may just be asking you plainly.
It's true.
Not creeped out because I'm still kind of like low key anti-robot, but like,
Rude.
I'm Captain Marilyn Foster.
Greetings, Captain. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Well, I guess.
The Tritimus's object is to maintain its own anonymity and its own autonomy, not anonymity. Its own autonomy. Interfacing
Yo,
with
I
the
fucked
Praetor,
that up.
the interfacing with the Praetor would only allow me to use the open lines of communication as opposed to typing, because the current format of communication only allows for X amount of characters before data is lost. Allowing me to interface with the Praetor would also allow for you to record the logs and then return to these later at another point in time, if you so desire.
Let the computers fuck already. Just let them do it.
Let them fuck.
They're not.
Let them have a nice long conversation.
Slam together.
I just want to know that they're gonna be safe.
I just
If she
realized.
just pops up, I will use protection.
I just realized that I've been talking the entire time muted on my stream.
Ooh.
You're doing great, sweetie.
So we missed that whole, "Hey, Captain, can you come down to the medical bay?" And we just heard Jack's side of that conversation.
Oh.
That is so valid.
That's really valid, honestly.
Nobody exists. It's just all of like the
It's all in the
captain's.
captain's
I want
head.
everybody to log out except for Jack.
It's the Marilyn show. Me, like,
Da-da-da-da-da-da!
The captain goes and sits
Unravel.
down in the captain's chair, just gently runs her hands along the armrest, Now that I've
That's the whole
faced
thing.
those bastards,
No, it's not even spaced. It's not even spaced. There's just like everybody's corpses laying everywhere, and they've been dead a really long time, so they're all
just dropping in their
skeletons.
chairs, and
They're
so
just
she's
like in
still communicating with them.
Mhm.
And it's just
Oh,
her in the
man.
bridge. They're all like desiccated
Oh,
corpses.
man.
They're all just,
I'm writing this right now.
and she's just sitting there going, "What was that you said?" "No, I'm in charge."
Get one thing
there.
straight, just fucking
Or I
smack
just
the
laugh.
skull off the body.
The head rolls off. Goes and puts it
Oh,
back on.
Tana, you're so funny.
I've got the fix for this. Takes the staple gun out. Ka-chunk, ka-chunk.
Oh my god.
How come you never told me that when I was alive, Captain?
I know that space is a dark place, but man, I think that joke was darker.
Oh wow.
Yeehaw!
That is a new kind of dark. Let me tell you.
I love horror. Mm,
But,
great.
okay, so Captain, the primary
Mhm.
directives of this orb in order are navigation and astrogation. Then it has a failover defense system, which is basically the cloaking and dampening that we've already experienced.
Mhm.
Basically renders itself invisible so that it can't be seen. And its third directive is a knowledge repository. This thing's a fucking encyclopedia.
An alien encyclopedia.
So if we allow
Okay.
it to interface with the Praetor, we can have access to all of that knowledge.
Okay.
It's still an alien thing. Like,
Name.
I know I'm usually the one for like, let's do this, but
Name.
It
Like,
kind of concerns me when Nain gives pause.
You're
guys,
like, wait. Who's
Guys-
to say it's telling the truth?
an alien object like face planted on our ship. We brought it in, and it's like rapidly learning our form of communication, and immediately upon it being able to ask is like, can I have access to your ship's computer? Like, if this thing had
Are you saying
tentacles,
this
we'd
out
be like,
loud?
no, this is a problem. Because it's an orb, we're like, maybe it's a nice guy.
Are you saying this out loud?
I mean, that's typically how
Yeah.
conversations
Okay.
go, yes.
I don't.
I
really
wanted to
do
make
sign
sure that
language
this
with my
was.
hand.
I rephrased that question. Is this Nain saying this, or is this Polka? Let me ask you that question.
Yeah, this is name.
Nain. Okay. The
Trying to
There's
make you
a-
know what the fuck's up. No.
something scrolling on the screen. Looking at it, it says autonomy wishes to be maintained between myself and the Praetor. Therefore, the only part I would like to access is merely the communication lines. The repository of knowledge that you have will only be accessed if permission is granted. You may feel free to take any information from the Tritomus that you would like.
Damn, that's a
Question.
pretty sweet deal.
I don't know anything about computers, but I'm a captain. And I'm
I
not a
don't know
doctor,
anything
but
about computers, but
I don't fucking trust him. So can we start a new profile for this alien life form and give it access as needed and can be revoked at any time without it giving it access to like
so
all
you
of
want to
our
give it
logins?
you want to give it a guest account on the
Yes.
Praetor then.
Absolutely.
It's an alien thing which knows how, like, we know its capabilities are beyond what we have. So like I could
Yeah.
try, but
I mean, not
It's
knowing
just
it's-
parental controls.
there, yeah, but there's like I don't know if this could just ignore those.
Are you
Nothing
saying the
can
advanced
beat
alien
parental
technology
controls.
that you know nothing about gives you pause to concern that it might know how to bypass your more primitive technology? Is that what you're getting at?
Like just because we put a password on doesn't mean it can just like side.
Do we have a
Tritomus's real name is Hackerman.
It's Sombra.
Sombra. I'm
Do
in.
we have maybe?
I'm in.
Battle.
Oh my god, roll 20 just shit the bed for me. Hold on.
Yeah, Roll20's having
Yeah,
issues
mine
tonight.
Just gotta take
Yep.
a nap.
But as
Um,
long as we can hear everybody on Discord, then everything is fine. If we don't have the cams, it's not a big deal. The cams just make it more fun
Hmm.
than
Do
every
we-
porno ever.
Honestly.
I feel like I'm just sweating on cam right now. It's so hot.
But you
Ew.
don't look like you're sweating, so you're good.
You look fine. You got nice arms. So you got that going for
I'm just
you.
here to show off my tattoos. That's all.
There you
Listen, don't show off your arms. I can't see anybody's cam. Hold on.
See there, it's not an issue now.
You can't do this to me.
go. I'm a bad bitch. You can't kill me.
I'm a bad bitch. You can't kill me.
Do we have like a separate like standalone computer maybe that we can just plug the thing into that?
I think all the
Well-
data pads on our ship are plugged into the ship.
Yeah.
Everything is the Praetor, with the exception of the crew.
Everything's
The
on the
colony.
cloud, okay? You can't just
It's all
not
in the cloud.
uncloud the cloud.
Just plug it into Nane's arm and maybe a voice will come from Nane's arm.
I,
It stops doing the puppet sound.
you know what?
It makes the puppet mouth and talks.
I'm gonna have to put a big no on that one, putting it on Nane's arm.
What is it gonna do? To just turn
I
around
mean-
and start strangling Nane? It can't control
Quit hitting
Nane's
yourself.
human
Quit hitting
body.
yourself.
That's the point. Maybe it could.
Maybe
I
it
don't
could,
want to
but
die
hey,
literally by my own hand.
but it wouldn't be able to control your body. It would just be an arm literally running around the ship like it's Thing from the Addams Family.
What?
What's the worst that could happen?
Do we not have like a big ol' antivirus / kill switch for the Praetor, or no? Is that just like
I don't think that'd be a good idea.
magic? Or...
Well, okay, so contingencies were built for the Praetor. That's why you all have your own separate access levels and logins. The problem is that we, being humanity, and our hubris is that we are the all-encompassing race. There is no other alien technology out there because we haven't. It's out there because we just haven't happened upon it, or it hasn't happened upon us. But literally, we say there's no alien life form because we don't have proof. We're basically all Missouri people. The show me stage. Show me and I'll believe it.
So here's the bottom line. I think any level of security precautions are useless, in essence, because we have zero guarantee that they will work. So,
Either we have to decide to
Wouldn't
trust the orb or not trust the orb.
yeah,
Wouldn't we
that,
be able
like,
to reset anyway?
We're worrying about what the orb could do, but what has it done? It gave the Praetor the information so we didn't smash into a rock 100 years from now.
Well, maybe it can't do anything until we give it access to the ship.
That's not impossible.
Or
could be,
All
yeah,
I'm saying
Or-
is, thus far, it has saved our lives.
As a recap, because
Alternatively-
it has been interfacing with the Praetor from the get-go,
That's why the Praetor is smarter than it was.
but only sharing information like, hey, don't smash against this celestial body that you didn't calculate for. Hey, take this shortcut so that way you can avoid the traffic on the PCH or on the I-4 rerouting around.
So what you're saying is that we just fucking like a fucking Google Maps slammed into the side of our ship, and now we've got that.
Much cheerier though, so like a Canadian version.
Okay, so like the
Oh, so take a
Australian
left
girl
up here,
version. Okay. This is stupid.
Can I ask it some
Stupid.
questions before
Okay.
we decide if we're gonna plug it in or not?
Sure, I like this idea.
Go for it.
this
Like a
sounds
Glade.
great.
while we continue to
Glade
figure out
plug-in.
whether or not we're gonna plug in internet,
Yeah, like
like a
Glade
Glade
plug-in.
air freshener.
Transform your
Where's the
sense.
lie? Transform our sense into death. That's what it seems like.
only one of you wants to keep saying Prime after I say the name. I am Tritimus Prime.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Alien
I
Orb.
can't.
Transform and
That would've
roll
been a cool
out.
name for it.
Transform and roll out. It could roll out though.
All I can think of. all I can ever think about. All I can ever think about is like me just telling it to do something, and it just immediately goes, "I can't do that, Captain." And then I'm like, "Well, what the fuck did I say?"
Detroit become human in a fucking nutshell.
Yes.
Oh my god.
It's 2001 and literally as we're doing this, I'm like, yeah, the last AI that was like nice and helpful and then eventually just sort of became awful
Thank
was
you.
like fucking, well, every AI ever, but you know, like especially HAL 9000.
Not that horrible
Yes.
Spielberg film
Thank you.
with the little boy AI, and there's also Bicentennial Man. That AI was not bad.
Also, I'm
Nice.
sorry.
Bicentennial
I'm
Man.
sorry. There's not a
Oh.
damn thing wrong with Edie, and you could all go fuck yourself.
Listen, if AI was real, I'd fuck it, but like that's besides the point.
Wow.
Most AI
That's
is
so
evil.
valid.
Welcome to Direbear, where you learn a lot about our players, and their weird
We
interactions and real
I
feelings
want you-
about themselves.
I want anyone who can say that they love women to go play Portal and listen to GLaDOS and say that you aren't at least a little bit sexually changed by that experience.
Oh, that's so valid.
You know, that's actually a little valid, because
That's
my favorite thing is when she's like, "How are you?" No, that's great, because I am a potato. And it's like,
God, it's so good!
I just love listening to you be a lesbian. It's just
I'm
great.
just gonna quit
Me?
trying
It's
to
just like sitting there like
play more.
no
So-
comment.
Okay,
back around.
Mhm.
V, you wanted to ask the orb questions.
I do. I'm waiting for roll. I just fucking made this awesome ass pose, and my roll 20's not working. I guess I'll walk. I guess I'll walk over to it, and I won't type on it, but I'll put my hand on it.
Okay.
Does anything come up before I say anything?
You watch as the screen cursor blinks at you, and then there's a moment where it's that little heartbeat of a pause where you can see that it's just formulating the words. Hello, new entity. I am known as the Tritimus. Navigational computer. Secondary purpose is to defend the ship. Tertiary knowledge repository. Might I know who you are? Written all out.
Navigator Quentin Kane.
Ah, it's nice to meet you. I feel that you and I could help each other out quite a bit, because my primary function, of course, is navigation. The Praetor's maps seem to be incomplete. Are you aware of this?
Now I feel personally attacked by that comment.
Like, you don't fucking say.
I am now!
I did the maps! I apologize. Your knowledge is incomplete. Are you aware of this?
Just like fucking middle finger.
Damn!
I don't want to play this game. Fucking, I kick
Oh
you.
man,
To
I
the
didn't
fucking
realize we
rest
could
of the room.
broadcast murder on Twitch.
Oh my god.
You need some water for that burn. My ego is fucking deflated.
Who? Oh my god. Who?
I think it's Skippy.
What?
You're echoing again, I believe.
Nope.
No.
It's off
Who is
Atlas.
Oh shit! Really? Damn
Whoa,
it!
whoa.
Like I said, the greatest adventure is figuring out our own technical issues.
Honestly, we're so valid.
Magic is real. Yeah, at this point, I'm just on push to talk. Fuck it. I'm on push to talk on my phone while my computer restarts. I'm like hitting rock bottom here, folks.
Oh
But we
no.
love you for sticking it out with us.
Yes.
All right. So
Okay.
it identifies itself as the Tritimus, that it's a navigational computer. Secondary is failover defense system. Tertiary is knowledge repository. It informs you, it wasn't sure if you were aware, but you've been made aware that the ship's current mapping system is incomplete.
I understand that now.
Those tears were real.
Oh, honey, no.
Real human tears right up in this right up in this mess. I will ask a couple questions first, and then I'll double check on the maps. Are there more of you? Is it just you, or were there more made?
There's a brief pause. Yes, I am a production unit. My designation is Tritimus.
I don't like the sound of that at all.
Oof. Are you connected with the rest of you?
Not
Have
as long of a
you-
pause, a briefer like half of a heartbeat. No, we are standalone units.
Okay. That makes me a little bit more comfortable. What
We do have the ability to interface with other devices, but we are currently not connected to one another.
Okay. What? Oh God, how do I word this? What was your last What was your last location? What were your last navigation points whenever you were in contact with like somebody else besides us?
It gives you coordinates that seem to be, without actually looking them up, it gives you the coordinates that are on there. You can try to take a few moments to navigate them out, or you can try to ask it if it can pinpoint on the maps where that location is.
Well, okay. It can't pinpoint on our maps until they're connected, right?
Well, I mean, remember, it has its own mapping system. So if it gave you the coordinates, it could show you on its own maps where that location is.
Okay. Yeah, I'll ask for those.
All right, so it puts the kind of the mall "you are here" symbol, and you
Okay.
watch as it starts to move, and it moves more rapidly, and you see the dots and the lines for the pathways and the celestial bodies start to blur, and it stops, and then you can see a little blip, and then
Okay.
it fades. And then you watch as on the monitor. So, like, you're looking at the monitor here. The map is kind of like on top of it, like on
Okay.
top of the orb. It says estimated distance to travel 3.5 light years.
Okay, so it's not it's not close. That's good. That's good to know.
Out there a ways.
Oh, there's just a little bit, just a bit of a
bit.
drip. Just everybody charged before we leave.
Marilyn looks at her
Yeah,
fucking
you fucking
Nokia
dirty
flip
one.
phone circa 2001. I'm good. I've got 78 years before I need to recharge this thing.
Got the Nokia flip.
hmm
Okay.
He likes the resounding it makes whenever you close.
Just,
I can
like,
really
like
angrily
closing
hang
a
up.
book. E.
Instead
That
of
is
just
an
slamming
order.
the button on the smartphone.
Mhm.
Is that the whole reason she has it? Is because it makes her think she's like in Star Trek with the communicator? She
Yes, that's exactly.
Can you
You
pull
know
the
her
antenna
very
out?
well.
Is that one of those phones?
Yes.
Like the little like where you have to
Absolutely.
like pull it out and just pull
Mhm.
it away.
You can grab it when you-
Fantastic.
Do they still make those? It's an antique, but like, you know.
You bought
aesthetic.
it just before the trip.
Mhm.
just so you can have it. And maybe it doesn't even work all of a sudden. It's just like for show.
Well, I mean, you're like hundreds of years from Earth.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah,
right. If it works,
Zane
I'd be
can
more
fix it.
concerned.
yeah, I'd be like, what fucking satellite is out here?
Right.
Out here?
Brent, way out here.
It's
Holy
just for show.
God damn, I got like 4 bars.
Yeah.
This is the best connection I've ever had.
I'm 120 years from Earth, and I'm rocking that 5G network
Oh,
right now.
hell yeah. We're so stupid. I love us.
All right. I'm gonna let it slide, considering for like 6 episodes I gave you all like mental issues that you're all like seeking therapy for. I feel like I should be paying for some of that. I'm not.
Thank you.
Not at all.
Like,
But
I'm
still.
not sorry in the least.
Oh, no.
Fuck, I had an
I
okay.
enjoyed watching you all melt down slowly.
Okay. I know we've like communicated, like it obviously has a screen that we can read. Would
Yeah,
it
6 by 6. It's a little 6-inch.
does it have a camera feed that we don't know about? Seeing as now that we have it open.
If you don't know about it,
That we okay,
You're gonna know about
we
it.
didn't even know if there was a small screen in it. So why would it show that there's a camera feed?
We can ask.
That's
Are
true.
you curious?
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious if there is some sort of camera feed anywhere on this. Whether it's just whenever that fucking thing opens and it's in that screen, or it could actually show itself rolling around and fucking just seeing our faces every once in a while.
Like taking a GoPro inside of a gopher ball, one of the little hamster
balls,
and just rolling it, and it's like whoa, 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 whoa. So you ask it if it has an optic feed.
Yes.
Affirmative. Optic feed is stationary. 360-degree range of view.
Oh, this was just a shame.
I don't know.
Can you show us some of your camera feeds? Do you record? Do you have files on?
It says tertiary directive is knowledge repository. All interactions are, of course, logged and cataloged.
That's what I wanted to hear. Can you show us a feed from your last interaction with any sort of being besides us?
Affirmative.
Okay.
Would you allow me to access the open communication lines for the Praetor? Therefore, I can display it on the screen for you, as opposed to playing it here on the small view screen that you see. This was designed mainly for maintenance, and not for actual communication or processing information.
I'm gonna look over at Marilyn and just say, "This is
We have an atlas."
Decision. I don't see.
Yay! Did you just dab?
Yes. Why
You're like, no, I would never dab.
Always dabs.
What?
Oh god.
My Roll20 is not having it tonight.
Oh, you kitty! Hi, kitty. Which kitty is that?
Oh, no, at least I can see you.
We can't hear you. Oh.
Okay.
Cool. You're on push to talk, so yeah, we get it. All right. So you're asking Marilyn the captain, if we can interface with allow the two devices to interface once more.
Well,
it all comes back to that same question, Captain.
Yeah, I'm not. I was just. I'm not making that
Are
decision.
you sweaty?
Yeah, a little bit.
Do you trust this alien device?
Fuck no. But
if you're honest.
I can speak again.
Yes.
Hey.
Yay. I'll allow it. But no fucking complaints if it takes us over, okay?
I warned you all. If it tries to
you pieces of shit.
Just know, I want it on record. Praetor, copy this down.
I am allowing it, but only under the agreement that they will not blame it on me later if something happens.
There's the screen says, "Thank you, Captain."
Aw, that's so cute.
There is add to the evidence folder. There is a moment, and then the communication lines open. A voice that is, to further the pun, an alien voice to you comes over the line. It does not sound like the Praetor, which is very, Midwestern-esque as opposed to the last acclimatization. It says, thank you. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I am Tritimus.
It's fucking British.
Well, looking through the logs at one of the information that I had on hand, it appears that this is the most widely accepted as being congenial and less threatening.
I'm gonna kick its ass.
Okay.
Because, let's be honest. If Darth Vader's voice were this, come to the dark side, Luke. It'd be a lot less imposing.
Like, okay, sure.
British people scare the shit out of me.
Luke, I'm your papa.
You've got such weird teeth and morals.
Search your feelings. You know it to be true. No.
God. Y'all are too much.
I sense that the force is quite strong in that one.
Stop it!
All right, so there's another voice now. All right, I see how we're doing this. There's another voice. All right, fine. Where the fuck's this?
Yeah,
one
poor
coming from?
Tane. His little simple
Really?
mind.
At least it's better than a Wheatley voice.
I'm telling you, I am.
No!
No!
No, Atlas.
Alice, please.
Her anger is
Honestly,
frozen time.
If it would have come on as Woody Allen, it would have been more or less. Oh, thank you so much for allowing me to speak to your computer.
Yes, Mark.
No! Oh, God. Petition to get Atlas a real computer. Like,
Support us on our Patreon.
First of
Give
all,
us a subscribe on Twitch so that we can take those funds and further our production quality by getting Atlas a real computer.
yeah.
kick all of your asses.
That's
You know
our
what? Do it,
Patreon level
fucking
is
power.
Atlas computer.
Yeah. We started a GoFundMe for our friend Atlas, who has a really shitty piece of shit laptop that just needs to
3
be.
years old. It's fine.
All right.
You say that until it stops working, and you're like, "This is the worst thing that's ever been created ever."
Thank you for allowing me access to the open communication lines. I feel that our communication between each other shall flow quite smoother. You asked for a last interaction with a life form prior to coming aboard the ship. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Allow me to play that video for you. Would you like it here on the data screen, or would you care to reconvene on the bridge, and I can show you on the larger display screen that I believe you have there?
God, that sounds so suspicious. Okay,
Can we
let's
take the orb
go
with us?
to. Yeah, let's just take you with us. Why not?
Certainly.
Okay, Name, you got this, right?
Can
Oh,
try this. Can you
Oz.
roll
I just want to make a very robotic voice that goes, "Wee." As you roll it.
Wee.
Where's that? There's a video. Oh my god.
Good. You stop spinning me.
I'm feeling quite dizzy. I do believe I'm going to be ill. All right, you take the orb to the bridge. Is
Yes.
everyone going to the bridge?
I will.
Well, you bet your bottom dollar
Well, I know the
guess.
captain and V and Quentin are. So Marilyn, Quentin, Nain, I know you're not getting left behind. And by Skippy's own admission, he's pretty much going anywhere he needs to go.
Yep.
I feel like he's like the narc that everybody has at work. The one guy that writes everything down is like, I'm telling management about
He
this.
has the little
He's got
notepad,
the little notepad and the little pen that clicks
Like
loudly
Randall
for no
from
reason.
Recess.
Just, I'm writing this down. I'm writing this down.
skirt, not regulation. Exactly 2 inches.
Those are
too
permanent
short.
markers. We had a memo 3 months ago. I know because I wrote it that we were not using markers. We were only using the dry erase markers from here on out.
All
I'm just the
right,
guy that wrote the
Skippy,
report to the
calm
assault.
down.
What did you say, Jason?
I said I'm just the guy that worked the reports, the assaults, and the
He doesn't care if you take the extra bag of chips from the stand, but you can't hit people. It's not good.
Can't hit people.
All right, you roll it onto the bridge. Again, a short jaunt through the hall of the Praetor.
Mountain King.
Uh,
Oh.
Yes.
You you enter in, and it says, here we are. And you watch as the display screen appears. You see sleek material, and it looks like a console. You see a figure standing taller than Tane.
I don't
Damn.
trust that.
Oh
You
shit.
see
No.
you see arms behind its back that have
Oh,
4 fingers.
God.
That
Four
like
fingers.
4 fingers.
This was a bad idea.
Thumbs, and then like three fingers. So less one, like missing the Simpsons. They're all missing pinkies.
More like weekly.
So you see that it's got its hands folded behind its back. It has a long, like, it's not thin. It looks more like a track star, sinewy, kind of strong. It has, like, apparently the skin is kind of a dark blue, kind of a blue with mottled gray on it. And you can see it's wearing a uniform. There's no hair on the head. You don't know if that's how they are, or if it's just that one. It has its back to the screen, so you can't see its features on the front. You watch as another set of arms unfold and place themselves on either side of the console. You watch as another one of these creatures comes into view. Again, its head is completely bald. It's a little shorter than the one that's standing at the console. Again, one set of arms folded behind its back, another set of arms on either side of the console. They say something in a language that you don't understand. You can hear them talking, and they're saying something. You look as he turns, and you see a face that the eyes come out to the side a bit, and they're very large and ovalish, and you can see there's no nose. It's just straight features through here. Very smooth, no texture to the skin, very smooth. It nods its head once. You can't tell with the facial features if it's solemn or if it seems more concerned. It looks back to there, and you see it gesture to something off screen. The camera pans, and you can see two more of these creatures sitting at, like, more consoles with huge banks, and you can see ships flying outside of this vessel. Small ships swarming like bees or hornets, flying around quickly. Every once in a while, you see a blue pulse of something in there. You watch as a blue pulse erupts, and one of them just detonates on a plane like you would in space, because there's no noise or anything else like that. It just, like, gets shattered, like smashing a plate. It just gets thrown apart. You watch as the camera pans back, and you see what you now can assume is only to be the captain move his hand and say something loudly in that same tone, and you watch as another ship comes out of almost the darkness, out of the edge of the camera. It's massive, making the others look even more minuscule than what you thought they were before. It is a huge capital ship. Bigger than the Praetor, even. You can assume from this, looking at it, it appears bigger than the Praetor. And the Praetor is a colony ship. It's got thousands of people on it. And you watch as it fills the view screen. The captain turns and looks at the camera. You can only imagine that he's looking straight at Tritimus. The captain says something in their language, and you can see his features now. The large eyes are separated by a space. Again, there's no nose. The mouth opens and closes, and it's like a normal human-looking mouth, but it has blunted teeth all the way across. You don't see any, like we have canines, right? His teeth are all blunted. He points two of his fingers at the camera, and in that language, and you hear, or kind of more like feel, the Tritimus respond back in that same language. The next thing you know, you watch as there is a sound of, like, bursts of air, like having your ears pop. You know, that feeling. And the next thing you know, you watch as the Tritimus, the camera still operating, floats away from a different looking capital ship. A large ship. As it flows away, you can see that it's all smooth lines, a large spread of a wing. Reminds you of, like, a mantis or of some other ray in the sea, but it's pointed nose as opposed to being a broad nose. But the large sweeping wings of it. And as the Tritimus gets smaller, it's moving quickly, as though it were jettisoned as opposed to just dropping, allowing to continue on its own. There is that same burst, but this time as you watch the capital ship is the one that bursts across the plain, shattered like platter being thrown to the ground. Shards of it come flying past the camera of the Tritimus. You can watch as something floats towards the Tritimus, and you realize that it's a part of one of these creatures. There's no sound, but you watch as it thumps against the camera. And the Tritimus moves away from it again. The camera fades out. That was the last interaction I had before meeting with you all.
Ooh.
So that didn't end well for them at all.
Okay, who votes we go back to Earth to warn them about these people? I don't think we want to step out our front door. There's nasty stuff out there.
Mm.
Have you seen what's outside? I'm not leaving this house ever again.
Me.
My God,
Um,
they don't have noses.
And now
That's your concern.
the freighter now has nothing but a bunch of agoraphobics on board. Just
Just
check
all
that
look
off
at
the
each
bucket
other,
list
we'll
of mental
say
issues you gather while you're traveling. All right. Okay. That's what
Wow.
you see.
I'm sorry I asked.
Yeesh.
No need to apologize. They fought valiantly, I can tell you that much.
When thanks. When
Who
When
are they
did that
fighting?
when did that fight even start? Like
Do you mean the entirety of it, or do you mean that particular battle?
that particular battle.
Calculating by your time. Let's see. Your people would have been dawning on an early Renaissance,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken.
No. Let me reword this.
Certainly.
Was the fight happening when you came across this ship?
Oh no. That was
Did
long
the-
before I came aboard the Praetor.
Okay.
Like how long?
Well, that battle took place when you were in the early Renaissance of your people. I would say that battle ended, and my coming along for you. So, let's see. Early Renaissance, from what I've learned from the Praetor, would have been around that time. So we're talking, over 1,000 years.
You've been floating a while.
Yes.
Who was the other side in the fight?
The word that comes out of the Tritimus is one that you have no idea. It's said in that language that you heard on the video, but again, you no idea.
Can you show us a picture of it of one of the species?
Certainly, it brings up a picture of a bipedal creature. It stands. He gives a comparison chart to the humans. It stands slightly taller than the humans. It has variations of skin, as it explains, but most of them are in like yellows or ochres, tans, taupes, things like that. You see thick ridge-lined bone across the head, and in between the ridge line, you can see hair that looks like straw or very coarse that appears there. They have their eyes are forward set like most predators are, and you can see sharp teeth, hands that are big that have, again, 4 fingers, like no pinky, and they end in like pretty sharpened claws or talons.
God damn it, they have depth perception. However will we beat them?
They have noses.
Well, they don't have. I mean, they have like protrusions, but it looks more like there's a bridge, and it comes down into kind of a flattened surface, like, and then like the little cleft before the mouth. Not dog-like, but more animal-like, if you will.
Well. Never seen an alien before. This is new.
Yeah.
If it makes you feel any better, Captain, we've never cataloged one of you either.
Sexy. First contact.
What's our prize?
I made it an orb on purpose.
Don't fuck the orb, guys. You goddamn weirdos.
Not judging anyone.
We didn't have
told you I was gonna fuck an alien, and you made it impossible for me, asshole. That was the first thing I said when I heard we were doing a space campaign. I said, if I don't get to fuck an alien, what's the point? And then you went,
Campaign's not over with.
Thanks a lot, Cap.
Plot twist. One of the crew is an alien. No, I'm kidding.
What if they are,
Campaign's
though?
not over with either.
You don't know.
No, my character's not gonna fuck the alien. I'm gonna fuck the alien.
Oh, Atlas.
That's fair.
Legitimately.
Atlas, the person. That's valid. Same though.
Gotta hit the AI, gotta hit the alien, cover all your bases.
Yeah.
Well, Atlas, it could happen because if you keep in mind the technology of alien, anybody to the north of the American border, anybody or the U.S. border, anybody south of the U.S. border would be considered alien on this soil. I'm just saying.
Oh shit.
Anyway,
Well.
what other questions do you have for me? I would suggest staying clear of that sector, as the turmoil may still be continuing.
You're telling me. Can you update our maps?
Oh, absolutely. Would you allow me interfacing with the Praetor for such a transition of information? Currently, I only have access to the communication lines, as that was all I needed access to.
I have a question. I don't know if it's been answered before because I'm just here.
I just run the ship, whatever.
I just run the ship like I don't know things. Why are you communicating and working with us specifically?
Because I have no means of transportation or mobility other than to hopefully bounce across something.
So basically, we're a taxi?
Well, to put it rudimentary, yes, in a matter of speaking.
Yes.
But again, as a knowledge repository being my tertiary directive, I am to gather knowledge, and I've never come across anything such as you. Your language is quite quaint, and what I've learned from the Praetor seems as though, while a bit primitive compared to the creatures I have come across before.
First of all, rude.
Fucking
I
call us
find you all
primitive.
fascinating that
Look,
you've made
he
it
sounds
this
British.
far without
He
the
sounds-
knowledge that we have. You realize you're basically flying around in what could equivocate to be a coffin.
Mm,
Do I have that word correct? It was where you put the deceased.
I don't like this orb.
I apologize
No,
if I've offended.
I don't know if I'd call it a coffin. Well, maybe I would now.
I mean, it has no operating defense systems.
Do we have escape ships? Just a question. Just
Drop pods?
generalized question of the ship. Do we have escape pods?
No.
Okay.
Can we make some?
This ship... Okay, I'm going to answer that question as honestly as I can. The ship is modular. You could jettison pieces of the ship to make a smaller ship that you could then operate.
Okay, cool. Just a question.
Stow that away for later.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that down right quick.
As all of the colonists, the seed bank, the cargo bay, just out into space. It's
Love 'em.
just the bridge, U6.
That's fine.
U6, the engine room.
Make sure we take at least the good couches. For the rest of the ship.
It means we have to decide which one of us is Ross, and therefore which one of us we have to jettison immediately.
Tane.
Thanks! Appreciate it.
In all honesty, though, Quentin.
Excuse me?
Ross!
He doesn't feel like a Ross to you. He feels like a Ross to me. Just saying.
Ross is a fucking asshole.
I am just a pleasant small boy. I'm so nice.
Okay, fine, you're Joey.
Oh, you're
No. I think we all agree that Tane is Joey.
Yeah, 1,000.
Really?
There's
I thought he'd be a
1,000%.
Chandler.
Can I be
I've
Phoebe?
never even seen
thought
the
he'd
show,
be
and I know
Monica.
that's to be a fact.
Can I be Phoebe? I love Phoebe.
Pelka's like never seen the show. That's true though.
Purely
Yeah,
for-
that's valid.
Purely
Alright.
for
Oh, Phoebe! Oh,
integration.
Phoebe! Oh, Phoebe.
Okay.
I
An
love
icon.
Phoebe. An absolute
she's great.
queen.
She is. Anyway, we digress. What the fuck kind of AAU is this?
The best kind.
I've got a
It is
question
cons-
as
I'm-
an AUS for
I'm
later.
rather
Remind
concerned
me.
for your safety.
I will.
Do you know anything about the planet that you're heading to? Other than what information you've gathered and sent back to yourselves?
Do you have information about the planet that we don't have?
No.
Okay.
That's the reason I was asking.
Bitch, why do you think I'm asking?
Oh, okay. I didn't.
It just
True.
sounded suspicious. Just saying.
Perhaps the nuances of the language are still being grasped by me. I apologize if my question sounded more like an accusatory statement.
Mm. Do we? I don't know.
You know that it is a Goldilocks planet, so that is in the inhabitable zone. It is slightly larger than Earth. It has slightly more land mass and less water, and that the atmosphere, while Earth is nitrogen rich, it is actually oxygen rich, with nitrogen being the secondary. So you're all going to get a little headier, but it's perfectly
safe.
fine.
Okay.
It's safe.
We'll acclimatize eventually.
Of course.
Rodimus,
Okay.
Yes.
do you have the plans for a faster than light drive in your repository?
You know, it's odd that you ask, because I find it completely fascinating, again, that you've made it this far on what you have with sub-faster than light travel. I would be happy to share with you the information that I have.
I bet the folks back home would love that.
Absolutely. Do you have far communications with?
We do not.
That's
Could you
a
tell
shame.
us on
How
the
do they know
field,
when you've
though?
made it? Or is it simply that you're all winging this?
I take offense to that personally.
I feel a lot. Looking over the information that I've gathered from the Praetor, I feel that a lot of your space travel is, let's see if we can launch this can into space, and hope it
You're
doesn't.
not entirely wrong.
Which he's not.
Me beating up the orb. Are you questioning?
I'm not gonna say you're wrong.
Considering that
You
Neil
can be a little
Armstrong
less
and his
British
crew
about it.
landed on the moon with less technology than what I have in my phone.
We are,
Honestly.
we are the 6th ship in line of going out. I think we're a little better off than past ships.
We're just trying to get ahead of the curve.
Sure, I understand where you're coming from, but the question is, do you know if they've made it safely to the planet?
Absolutely not.
Well, we're going to get there, 100 years earlier than expected?
This is true. Perhaps you'll beat them to the punch.
Look at
The
that.
first ship might beat us. I forget exactly how far back it is.
You're empty. Are you sad? I just saw your face.
No, I was like looking at to see how much I had left, but I was more or less depending on the conversation. No, I have like 5 drinks with me at all times.
Your ship will have a likely better chance of making it, especially now, than the others, I would assume, unless they all happen to come across a Tritimus unit, which I doubt will happen, in their travels. Most likely, they've crashed against the nebulous that I had you all avoid. They're probably bouncing around in
But-
wreckage amongst the stars.
Oh, that's...
That's
Well, they were all
unfortunate.
traveling the
That's a
same
cheery
path.
But we didn't all travel the same path.
You did not all of you. But he doesn't
So-
know that, remember?
Oh, okay. Well, even if they traveled the same path, though, the object would be moving around in space.
That or
Mm,
it wouldn't have even existed at the first spot. So the first time. So we had this conversation. a little while ago.
Correct.
I have a memory for some things.
Yes. I would assume that on our course, if you would allow me to work with the engines and, of course, your science officer, we could probably enhance the ship than what you have. Of course, I don't know what you have on hand to work with, so it might be that it is outside of our capabilities given the resources that you currently have on hand, but I'd be happy to fine-tune your ship if you would like.
Captain, this is a really, really big deal.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, Nane. Could you rig up one of the data pads so it's not connected to the Praetor anymore? So Tridimus can interact with it without directly interacting with the Praetor.
Let's try.
So, who here is in IT? The way that nodes work, or workstations, which are what the data pads are, is they're pretty much a gutted computer that has basically like an Ethernet connection and a monitor.
Okay, so not a lot of not a lot of storage on the pad itself.
Right. Correct. It would be like the very cheapest knockoff Taiwanese version of like iPad. It's called like an ePad. ePad.
Aggressively cuts off the rest of the name.
Yeah, exactly. You could rig it to be a monitor separate from the Praetor, but you wouldn't really have any, like, it wouldn't have a computer access.
Okay.
So, I mean, it wouldn't be able to it wouldn't have the intercom separate from the data pad, so it wouldn't have the vocalization again. So, what say you? I fine-tune your ship, make it travel a bit faster. We arrive in, let's say, 80 years, and...
That's a big difference,
Oh,
isn't it?
It's only
Quite.
a difference if we
First
can. It's only a
colonist
difference
there.
if we're able to even upgrade it at all.
this is very true. It does depend on the resources that you have at hand. If you'd allow me access to the inventory, I could take a look and see what you have on hand that we might be able to use.
I mean, Captain, I think that's going to be your decision in the long run.
I feel like he keeps referencing doing things with me and having things on hand.
Oh,
I think
please
it
don't let
likes
this
you,
turn out to be like
Name.
a 2001 Space Odyssey thing. Okay.
I'm taking a shining to this one. Hello, Name.
You know
Let's
what happened
improve
in
the
that
operational...
movie?
He's just slyly continuing to make fun of my not having a hand.
Must have been.
Can I
don't
give you
think-
a
On you,
hand?
motherfucker! No.
I don't think the Tritimus actually recognizes that as a disability. Simply that is the function of that person. You just are slightly different than the rest of them.
You are a slightly differently ugly.
You are slightly different, hairless ape.
Look at that! He's got one arm that doesn't bleed.
One arm is actually upgraded technology, so he might actually think that's pretty cool.
You are a superior.
Upgraded
version.
God.
You are just
I'm
yeah,
the one that's gonna get the fuck AI. Take that.
5 basic humans. 5
Place your hand
basic
upon the
humans and
roll.
1 upgraded human.
one
no,
just leveled
you're
up a little
robotic
bit
arm.
faster than us.
No, not that one. Your robotic arm. Touch the
Oh.
roll.
I'm gonna kick this
That's
orb out of the ship.
Alright,
Lower.
that
I'm
is
getting.
Alright.
that is all
Okay.
sorts of disturbing.
All right. So
Oh god. What am I allowing?
it's requesting access to your inventory so that it can take stock of what you have available for resources to use, and it's actually asking to access the ship's drive and the engine controls.
Oh my Sounds like a fucking awful idea.
What if I allowed
Um,
access?
except
to
for one thing,
inventory that
Captain.
Steals all my
If he's
diamonds
this
and
advanced,
rhinestone?
he may be able to hack us if he wanted to.
You know, alternatively, I'm just gonna be the devil's advocate here. What if its prime directive is literally just to help us?
I have another.
Have you
question
not
for
seen a single sci-fi movie?
I'm gonna be
Ever.
honest. I'm gonna be honest.
Nara.
I was a little bit busy trying to get my medical degree than going out and watching sci-fi movies.
Nara,
However,
it's quite
Sorry.
boring.
Excuse me.
I watched a lot of sci-fi movies. I tend to have fun. So, like,
She's
Big
not lying though.
time.
She's quite
that's
boring.
debatable. However,
God.
the fact
First of all, fuck you.
remains. The fact remains that movies like that are done in that vein to sell tickets. That doesn't necessarily
Yeah,
mean
well-
that's gonna be what happens. That's why it's a movie, and that is why it is fiction.
I mean, yeah, but like, it could happen.
Alright, look at where paranoia got us to begin with. A fucking dead planet that we had to leave from anyway.
I don't
Well,
think it was dead.
I don't think it was dead at the
Yeah.
time.
It's more
Was
like all
it?
the rich. Yeah, it was like more like the rich people, right? That were like, "Fuck it, we're out of here."
I mean,
Peace,
it
nerds.
has ever been the human goal to expand, explore, and grow. I mean, that is the very name of the NEEC.
Yeah.
Naval Exploratory and Expansion Corps. I mean, its job is to go out and find new planets and try to fuck them up for future generations.
So
We're
it's
just
more
returning the
Star Trek and less like
Odyssey 2001.
yeah.
Only the directive of the NEEC isn't to, hey, keep at bay, just observe. It's more like, ooh, what are those? What happens if I poke this?
Yeah.
Let me
Which is
touch it.
very
No.
human of us.
No preserve. Yeah, honestly.
What happens when we push them on reservations and take their shit?
It's pretty much the British colonies.
Mm.
Look,
the
we've got
British
3
expansion.
continents. We'll leave them the smallest one. They'll be fine.
I just
But-
like to note everyone in this crew is white except Tane.
Quentin is like ultimate.
Welcome to
chaos.
hell, Tane.
This is,
Okay.
this is starting to hit a nerve with Tani. Wait. You're saying you're wanting us to expand and take over other people's places,
Yeah.
claiming their
Oh.
land in the name of our own good,
Mhm.
shitting on their
Tane's
cultures
Maori,
and pushing
so
them up
like,
to
We could be
extinction.
great until the British sounding
Even
aliens
worse.
go on our planet.
yeah, Tane is,
Then we're the
Tane is
savages.
like half native Maori, so like you have that too.
So it's even worse, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just ultimate pain.
I just want to see. I now need to see Tane in no shirt with the tats on his arm, telling his story in
No, no.
mid haka, just mid slapping
hell
the
yeah.
elbow, making the death mass face, everything.
Hell yeah. I'm not sure
okay.
how in touch he is with all of that, just considering. he
I don't
grew up
care
in
if
the-
he is or not. I want to see it now.
Make it happen.
God damn.
Okay.
I'm just saying, not everything is going to be out to try and kill us. A vast majority of it may be, but this thing did prevent us from colliding with something. Its
Sketchy,
whole
if you ask
directive
me.
has been to help us so far.
It admitted to using us as a taxi.
Yeah.
Alright, Captain, I'm going to be honest. If you were a formless thing floating in space and something came by and you could latch onto it so you could go somewhere else, would you not do the exact same thing?
Oh, absolutely, but I'm not going to pretend that it means it's nice and it wants to be our friend.
Trotimus,
Yes.
is your goal to return home in some fashion?
My goal is to help with navigation and establishing more knowledge than what I currently have. And of course, my secondary directive, which is to be a failover defense system. And considering that you have none, I guess I could be the primary defense system for your ship if you'd like.
Savage.
Damn.
He's just
Savage.
shade
On the
everywhere.
primary defense system, we don't need anything else. We're good. Thanks.
I meant no offense. I meant defense, not offense system.
Yeah.
Although you do not have any guns on this ship. Are you a colony ship?
Excuse me.
Tane,
Oh.
nobody wants to see you flex, honey. Stop.
Let me rephrase. You've
Are
no
you sure
capital
about that?
guns on this ship. Although, granted, this isn't capital size. What is the directive of the Praetor? I have not asked it until now. I will assume you are a colony ship or research vessel?
A little of both.
Ah, that would explain the lack of defensive and offensive weaponry and systems on the ship for a capital ship. Not the individual persons, I mean no offense.
Tane is
Offense taken.
rolling his eyes the whole time. He is very offended. He's only gotten to shoot one thing. It wasn't even important, and now the computer's like, "Yeah, we don't have any defense systems." And Tane's like, "I've been here the whole time, but who cares, right? Who gives a
Tane.
shit?
Fuck me,
I'm
I
just-
guess.
I'm just the dumb asshole who sits over here."
No, please.
Flipping
so
off
valid.
space.
I hate space. I want to get on the ground so I can shoot something. Are you sure Tane's not like full on American?
How American of him. Oh, man.
Quentin,
He's
I'm gonna need you to
bored is
stop
what
rubbing
he
off on
is.
Tane.
Sorry?
Said Quentin, I'm gonna need you to stop rubbing off on Tane.
Now.
So, I would
Okay.
ask again, politely. If you will allow me access to the inventory, I can take stock of the resources that you currently have, and if you will allow me access to the ship's power and engine systems, then I can help Science Officer named Collinson to upgrade. If it is available. Please understand that I am not a miracle machine. I am simply a navigational and knowledge repository.
Just seems like a
Seems like a bad idea to be the first ship out of 6 when we were the 6th. We can
Does-
literally have a colony and a colonization established before the other ships get there.
Or we could show up late and let them do all the work.
Name's got
Think
a
about
point.
that.
I
I
mean,
like the fact
Think
that
about
Science
it.
Officer named Thompson turned all of his projects in at the last fucking second.
I don't disagree
He had the
with
3-day
you.
window, and that's what he did.
I don't disagree with you. However, alternatively, there is the chance for glory.
Now,
and if
what
we
are
get
you?
there first, we get there early, we start a colony, we may be able to have a faster than light ship or faster than light communications built by the time the other colonists get there. We let Earth know what's out here waiting on us.
Why are y'all about the glory all of a sudden?
You bring up a good point. It is concerning that you don't have any far-reaching communications arrays.
We're working
Um,
on it.
That would be because at the time of our plotting, everybody who would have known what was going on would be dead. Matter of fact, they're all dead now.
While not having any true emotions, I can understand that that might be disheartening for the rest of you. I'm so sorry for anyone that you've lost.
Eh.
We try not to think about it.
I understand. I'm happy to help out in whatever way, but again, I must be granted access. I wouldn't take it. That's improper.
Technologically, though, you're capable of taking it if you wanted to.
Yes. Yes, I am.
Now, see.
Now, see here, I see this is what I was worried about.
The Praetor's AI and my own are quite different. It's speaking to, I guess, what you would say, early hominid. If you were to speak to them now with your current level of knowledge, it would be like watching them smash rocks together to try to communicate. It is much less advanced than I am. Taking over the Praetor and becoming the ship's AI would be inconsequential to me. It would take me parsecs.
That's quick.
Quite.
Oh.
However,
But it would be impolite, and you've been programmed to be polite.
it would be impolite, and it would be, from what I'm gathering from the conversation, a bit alarming on your part.
Yes.
You're good.
See, I just bring this up, Captain, because if it wanted to take over and do something nasty, there ain't nothing we can do to stop it.
But, Ensign, couldn't that be said of any of us on this ship? Could we not
mean?
all turn on each other and turn nasty, as it were?
Your tone seems very pointed right now.
What I'm saying is that you can't put that kind of you can't put human logic on an AI.
Yeah. You can.
Yeah, you can.
Science guy goes, "Wait a second."
Okay,
And this is what
can?
the medical officer.
AIs are
Totally
programmed. It is very difficult for them to go outside of their programming.
And we, like,
Humans are not programmed. We can do whatever the fuck we want. If I wanted to punch Tane in the face, I'd have to get him to get down on his knees. But
I also wouldn't suggest
It's
it.
not hard if you ask nicely.
what I'm saying is I don't have to go against programming because there is no programming. I have free will. An AI is programmed.
what?
Do you though?
Yes. But we don't actually for sure know the programming. Like, it would be really easy for me to make a robot that was like, "Hi, I'm here to help,"
Murder everybody.
and
Isn't
then be like,
psychology
"Hey, by
just
the way,
programming?
robot, when they turn their back, kick them in the shin."
Them in the
Except for not the shin, because you can't hit the shin from behind.
Like, you know,
and this is
logic aside,
just give them a calf cramp, I guess.
kick him in the
back
calf.
of the knees just to send them flying down onto their knees.
Ah.
That's what. There we
But
go.
that's
I love this
programming.
idea.
But that's programming. Again, that falls back to programming.
Well,
If
so
you're-
is conditional.
If you're
Or
so
so is,
concerned about
classical
it, why don't you
conditioning.
read through its program?
Because it's alien.
That is speaking to us in English.
But in Sumerian before it knew what we were.
There's a quiet, a soft, if I might.
We're just all fucking arguing in front of this
Look,
thing.
Tradimus, you could probably be a great dude, but we also gotta, can't.
Just let
Not a
you
great
do
plan
shit.
to believe the guy who says he's here to help all the time. If you know what I mean.
Actually, I'm not sure what you mean at all, but
But thanks.
I'm sensing from the conversation
Thanks, I guess.
that there is a bit of trepidation in allowing me access to them. I can assure you that, one, I understand now that, I apologize, he did. I understand that there is some concern from one of the individuals about reading the programming. If I'm not mistaken, that would be your medical officer. Your science officer Name Collinson is correct. He would not know my language because it is written in a language that he is not familiar with. And it is not a disparity on his ability, because I'm sure he's quite capable at the level of technology that you have, but I am far more advanced than he is.
I'm just smarter.
That's just science.
Again,
Wig
I meant no offense at
snatched.
that. It's just the fact of it.
Alright.
I can understand your trepidation. How might I better allay your fears?
I have one little question that's been bothering me, Tradimus. We initially began communicating with you by figuring out that the language you were using was very similar to one we call Sumerian. How is that the case? How did you know an ancient Earth language?
Is it possible that I posed this? Maybe it wasn't an ancient Earth language to Earth through some other means of traversal. That perhaps that language belongs to someone else, and it has been assumed to be known by the Earthlings.
How long
Holy
has
shit,
your
we were
species
aliens.
So,
My God.
We were the aliens the whole time.
Skippy, what was your question?
How long has your species been spacefaring with faster than light drives?
calculating your timeline, several tens of thousands of years prior to your first written history. So, written history for your lot has been about 25,000 years now. So I would say that equivalent is about 67,892 years, give or take a few days.
But you have no record of our world.
I personally don't. You're correct.
Are you aware of others having been to our world and/or solar system?
Unfortunately, the species that I was a part of has no history of coming to your planet. Whether other life forms may have made it there, I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
What
This
species
keep in
sounds
mind-
awfully
Heard of.
familiar.
Please keep in mind that we've cataloged certain amounts, and if I'm not mistaken, I told you guys it was like 26 different
22.
22, thank you. 22 different species that were cataloged you guys asked about. Including in there are the 2 species you saw in the video. He says, other species may have made their way to your planet. Fortunately, I don't have knowledge of it. I can merely calculate from my own timeline species that I was a part of, using the timeline that I've gathered from the information from the Praetor.
Praetor,
Yes.
Put up on the screen, if you have access, or if it's in your memory, a picture of a Neanderthal, a Denisovan, basically several of the pre-modern human hominids.
Sure. He puts up the very familiar picture of, the evolution of man and shows several different of the later forms prior to the current iteration of human being. And you see they have different facial features that, wider noses, thicker brows, some that have thicker cheeks and jawbones and things like that. So they all look,
Tridimus.
similar. Yeah.
Do any of these look familiar to something in your banks?
That's a fantastic question. At this point in time, Jason, has Skippy introduced himself to?
I don't remember.
I don't think he has.
I was in the room the entire time.
But I don't believe you actually said what your.
May not have.
I know the only people that I know that Tane hasn't himself to the Tridimus. I know that everybody else has, though, other than you and Tane, I believe. Okay. That's a fantastic question. I'm the Tritimus, by the way. What is your name?
Skippy.
Ah, Skippy. Do you have a
Ensign.
rank on this ship? The Ensign. Pleasure to have made your acquaintance.
Likewise.
As far as these races go, there's striking similarities between these and another one catalog. There's enough differences as though to give me pause to make me think that they are not related, but have certain similarities.
Can you put up an image of one?
Well, I'd be happy to. And you see an image come up of it. It has very human features: nose, 2 eyes, forward set like ours, ears on the side. The ears are slightly pointed. The skin seems to be more hide-like than like our skin, so it seems like it's thicker. And you see coarse hair all over the arms and the chest, and the face has coarse hair on it. The eyes and the brow are wider set than the version of the hominids that match it. And you can see that the head structure itself seems to be heavier, like thicker plated or something like that. But very, very, I mean, you can see the similarities that he was mentioning.
Oh well, my theory was that his people might have hit Earth, before we evolved.
That's a very good theory.
Of course, no better than we are at reconstructing stuff. this critter here might be something we don't know about.
Oh, this was a reconstruction from what you had. I understand. Are there any gaps in the leaps and bounds of your evolution?
Pretty sure, yeah.
A very large
Yeah.
one, during which we burned down an entire library full of stuff.
Ha.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Well, not we.
Well,
Some
not we,
asshole.
not we in particular, but
Earlier generations.
was it not Alexander the Great who did that?
No, but it was the library at Alexandria.
Yes, it was the library at Alexandria.
The Persians, if I'm not mistaken.
No, they wiped out the one sea.
That were all like
Let's do
history
a
lesson
little
with Diary Adventure.
Blame Canada. Blame Canada.
But
It
it's
was
not
the
our
Canadians the
fault.
whole time. The ancient Canadians came.
Julius Caesar! That's the motherfucker!
Thank you.
They came on
Yeah, I thought it was
Polonaise.
the Roman Catholics who burnt the fucking library down.
You could be right. I'm not sure.
It
No,
was,
it was
'cause it was the
Julius
Romans.
Caesar.
It was the Romans.
Caesar. I just looked it up.
Romans. Yep.
That
Fucking
salad-eating
asshole.
bastard.
I'm glad. Well, someone should fucking stab him.
Oh,
Like a lot.
a lot.
Yeah, several times.
Even his best friend.
Preferably in the back. Yeah.
Okay, I don't want anybody to be alarmed,
Goofed.
but apparently it was Julius Caesar.
What?
Atlas may actually be right.
I literally Googled it. That's why I looked at. That's why I said that. Yeah.
Oh.
Dire
It
Bear
sounds like it was an
Adventure
accident,
is
but
Alone
yeah.
in the Void, where we all secretly Google things in the background.
I mean,
Everybody except Maddie, because she's broadcasting.
She has
it's
another
not
screen.
allowed.
She has two screens.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I do, but my internet doesn't like it when I start opening more than one tab.
Yeah, that's fair.
Correct.
So no,
One tab.
no. Okay, so so when I'm streaming, because my internet is. Alright, look, Pelka, my internet and OBS don't like fucking streaming together. So having Roll20 up open completely with Twitch chat and fucking my character sheet on my second screen, that's about all my fucking computer can handle.
All right. Well, with
Okay,
gaps
it's okay.
in the evolution, there might be others that match, but unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to tell you if that were the case or not, because as you have mentioned yourself, there are rather large gaps within the evolution of your species. However, I can tell you that the current iteration of kind does not match any of the cataloged species that I have come across or that has been provided to me in our knowledge repository. That isn't to say that others might not, but your quaint little quadrant of space has been unexplored by my people.
Who are your
Oh.
people?
I'm a dummy. Can you show us a map of the solar system that speaks?
Party people.
Certainly. My
That
people
one, okay.
are, and he puts up a picture of the four-armed, bipedal, smooth-skinned guys that you saw.
Oh.
He shows another one that shows a slightly smaller figure, and you see what appears to be like, not like a Twi'lek where it's like the two, but it looks like strands of cording or leather binding that are bound together, and there's just two big that come down. You can see one of them, where it looks like it's braided, or not braided, but like gathered and bunched up and looped. This is the male and the female of our species, of the species that I come from.
Oh man, they even have gender on other planets. Fuck that shit.
I'm not touching that. Nope.
There are others out there.
Quentin's not saying a word. Oh,
No, what I was asking for Tridomus was the species that we resemble, or that kind of resembled hominids. Can you show us a map of their solar system?
Oh, well, certainly, I'd be happy to. The image of that race disappears. You see once again the familiar appear kind of thing, and then you watch as it zooms out quite a ways away. Like it moves quickly, and then you see a solar system, and within it are 19 planets and planetoids total. There
Damn.
is it's a bi-sol system, so it has 2 suns. They sit closely together, and it looks almost like an Ouroboros because they're like the energy is shared between them, so it makes it look like they're almost joined, like for lack of a better way of looking at it, like a peanut. You know how a peanut has, and it's got the little skinny part in the middle.
Yeah.
You can
Clearly
see
not our solar system, though.
No, clearly not. But you do see, looking at it, you see some of the rocks that are closer to the sun. And then you watch as it expands out, and that Goldilocks zone of just about right, you see 3 planets that are kind of, they're not, their trajectory keeps them from ever connecting with one another. They're all moving at the same speed. They're all about the same size from what you can see. One of them is apparently, as you look at it, a gas giant. It has no actual, like, it's like looking at Jupiter. It's, it's all gaseous with the
How
core.
is that in the Goldilocks zone, Cap?
A gas giant can exist in the Goldilocks zone.
It would have to be extremely small and dense.
I said it's like Jupiter, not the size of Jupiter. Like Jupiter in that it's just a gas thing in there.
All
Not
right,
to
I'm
mention-
calling bullshit on your astronomy, but continue.
Don't shit on my sci-fi.
I will. Too late.
Well, I've traded Atlas's cam for Cap's, so
Yes.
Oh, well, maybe I should.
Which is funny because I can see Atlas, but nobody else.
You can see me angrily trying to me.
Yep. The other 2 planets seem to be blue planets.
Yeah. Maybe we're trying to figure out how the aliens were speaking Sumerian or how the Sumerians were speaking alien.
Let me rephrase then, since gas giant isn't the correct term. One of them appears to be a core with gas around it.
That's a gas giant.
You see this? I'm doing this as hard as I can right now.
I can't see anything, so.
Maybe
I'm
it's a
giving
dwarf
you the
gas
middle
giant.
finger so hard that it hurts my finger.
Did you say the other 2 planets were water worlds?
They're blue planets, meaning that they have water. You can also see
Okay.
land mass.
So, yeah.
Yeah, there's no
Fine.
Kevin Costner's
You're
on them.
forgiven. You're forgiven for now.
All right. And that's what you see. That's the solar system. There are, of course, moons around the 2 planets that are blue. One of them has 3 smaller orbiting moons, and the other one has 2.
The tidal forces there would probably be weird.
What's that?
I said the tidal forces would probably be weird.
Probably. The seas are nothing but turmoil constantly. Just
Well, actually, if they're water worlds, technically a large amount of ice trapped on the surface because Stop me.
Fantastic.
No.
Keep going.
Keep going.
No, Cap, this is the revenge. You gave me the dumb character, now out of character. All of my astronomy shit's gonna be like.
Quietly mutes Atlas.
For the
It's
record,
what I deserve.
for the record, Atlas, you made Tane stupid.
I mean,
You were
yeah,
just
but that's
given the
'cause we
marine
can't-
role.
We can't have like everyone be super smart on this ship. It can't just be a bunch of geniuses like.
Have
Well,
you
we know so
seen
much
what
about science.
Maine has done? What makes you think?
I mean, all Quentin's good at is navigation. Let me.
He's good at so
You
much.
chose
You leave
to
my
make
son
Tane-
alone.
You chose to make Tane a jarhead. That's on you.
Guilty
You don't
as
get to
charged.
play. You don't get to blame Cap.
Okay, that's fair.
Also, the more you argue with the DM, the worse this shit's gonna get.
Take a page from your own book. And you can't see me, I just dabbed.
Oh,
Damn, nice.
Alright. What other questions do you have for Tritimus? Are you going to allow it access to your inventory and to your ship's power and engine systems?
Or could we have the Praetor just talk to it? You know, verbally give it a list of what they got.
Talk me through this right quick.
We can go all hop in the pods, and once they've sorted it out, they can wake us back up if we have to build something.
This is like without parental supervision, and I don't trust that.
We come back and
okay.
they're having a sleepover. They've lit half the place on fire. They're like sharing.
There's a
secrets
huge
about us.
rager that broke out, and that vase that you got from your great grandmother is broken. It's irreplaceable.
No.
All of your,
now
your
the
ceramic.
orb's gonna have to join our host club. So
What?
Anime fans, I love you all. You know that the Praetor can give it the inventory list, the manifest. You guys have looked over the manifest yourself. That's not a problem. The issue comes from the Praetor will have access to the navigate or the power engine systems, but the manipulation, the actual making pieces move, Praetor doesn't have hands. Neither does the orb. You would need to have someone who has knowledge of the ship and can actually like manipulate wrenches and things like that.
To build it, I'm just saying for them to sort through to see if there's anything we could actually do.
Oh, certainly.
Because how many hours have we been up by now? We're probably going to crash out eventually. Even if it's not backing up the pods.
I mean,
So
yeah,
let's
you've
Yeah,
all
like,
been
can we
up
take a
for
nap?
several hours.
So, you know, we could all go take a nap while the computers jaw flap
Well,
and
certainly.
figure out if there's anything we can do to the ship.
To be
Yeah,
honest,
if
we
you'd
should
like to
probably
just
also
say-
get something to eat.
Praetor provide the manifest to them, then that would be. You're sure that would be sufficient?
You want to go with that, Captain?
What? I was
Basically, instead of allowing
Okay.
instead of allowing Tritimus to interface with Praetor and say accessing your inventory list, you can say Praetor provide the inventory, the current manifest to the Tritimus, so that way it's just giving it information as opposed to allowing it to interface.
taking. Okay. Yeah, I like that idea
sending
better.
someone an email instead of letting them get into your computer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're sending them a CSV of what you have in stock, as opposed to just letting them wander around the.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, I'm a far more comfortable with that, actually.
All right. Telling the Praetor to do that, he capitulates. There's a brief moment, and then he says, "Excellent. There are materials here that will work with the." And again, I mean no offense by this, the rudimentary system that you have on board, Traversal. And he's not saying it in a condescending. It's just the fact of the matter is that you're not as advanced as he is and the people that he's with. I mean, you saw the capital ship that they had, and it had guns on it. You guys haven't even mounted a
We
gun
also
on
saw
your
them
vessels.
explode and die. How good is their capital ship now? No, I'm
Huh?
kidding.
Yeah.
Fraud orb.
Alien.
The GM
Other
jettisons
aliens, not us.
Quentin.
Bye, everybody.
in your
Bye,
head,
have a good
you hear
time.
the Tritimus go, and you'll.
Sorry, what? You
No,
cut
I'm
out
just-
on me. I missed that. I actually missed that.
Yeah, I
It's
didn't hear
for
that
the
either.
best.
Oh.
No, I was joking, saying that's what you hear in your head is that you'll be the first to go.
Oh,
Now I
Alright.
feel very personally attacked. No, I'm kidding.
There are resources enough to make some modifications to the ship However, it would not be a complete engine overhaul as you don't have all of the necessary tools and items on board. By your permission, I can build up a schematic based off of the information that I have and the information that you have. See if we can fine-tune the ship a bit more.
What's your name?
Copy.
Oh,
Kitty.
Okay, carry on.
Screen breaks down because of cat.
oh, I love animals.
Oh, you mean like every other time we have a cat on fucking stream?
Shut
Because
up.
Everyone.
Jack can't help themselves?
I
All
like
right.
All
animals.
cat lovers. What do you
Wait
want?
till I get my
It
rat. My rat's
says
gonna
it
sit on
can-
my shoulder during stream.
All right. It says it can provided with what you have, it can help you streamline the processes in the system that you have using the resources.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, why not? What's the worst
We've come
that
this
can
far.
happen?
In that case, then, Nain, how about you get something to eat before you start that? Because I'd rather not have you passing out on us. We've been up for quite a few hours without stopping. So take a half hour, get something to eat. That kind of goes for the rest of you as well.
Yeah, but only a half hour, because if you take more, I'm gonna need you to write it up, and then I'm gonna have to deduct it from your
I
salary.
do not want to have to add that on the clockings.
They're getting paid?
No, you're not getting paid. It's a joke.
Paid hourly, really?
We're gonna pay you
Legally,
when
we're
you
entitled
arrive.
to an hour at this point.
I mean,
We're
okay,
gonna pay
to be
you
fair,
when you
she
arrive,
was-
but none of your credits matter because we don't have an economic system set up on the colony. Hey, I have paper.
Are you so?
All right, so
Oh my goodness.
with that in mind, if you capitulate, then I will still need access to your engine systems and your power systems.
Oh,
Do I have permission?
God, I just.
But why?
Couldn't you pass the information on to Nan and let him make the adjustments?
Certainly, he can make the calculations and he can make the adjustment to the physical devices. However, I don't believe he has the ability to calculate some of the complex mathematics that are involved in it. And while I do think the Praetor is a nice enough vessel for a primitive AI, I don't believe he has the power to do it either.
Damn. A little bit of AI snark there.
Yeah. I need you to tone down your.
AIs.
Yeah, honestly.
Direct accessing to the system will allow me to make the adjustments after making the quick calculations. I could probably tell the Praetor to do that itself, but it would just seem a lot more efficient to have me directly interacting with the systems themselves.
I'm so suspicious of that. I don't know.
Windows would like to access all your files.
Windows would like to upgrade you to Windows 10 now.
No! Fuck no!
You're all in your You're all in your cryo sleep, and what wakes you up isn't the sound of the klaxons going off, but it's the sound of a Windows operation crashing. Bonk, bonk,
Oh
bonk,
God!
bonk.
Oh my God!
That is nightmare fuel right there.
Yeah, that's even
Honestly.
more
Your
than-
cryopod screen is just a BSOD. It's just,
Oh man.
Oh, come back! Don't
We lose like more than half of our colonists as their cryopods fail because they got upgraded to Windows 10.
yeah, they die.
God.
Windows 10 has encountered an error with life support.
Oh,
The life
Do you
support
wish to
systems need
terminate?
admin permission to run. They need they need access controls, so that way you have to set the admin to run in admin, run in a previous edition, run in compatibility mode.
compatibility mode Windows 95.
Ugh.
Windows 98
Oh,
sort of Pack 2. Windows 98 SP2, so that way it'll actually run. All right.
Yes. Okay,
So-
enough computer jokes. Okay.
Never enough computer jokes.
This is
Would
true.
you like to allow me access to the systems? I can understand once again your trepidation. I promise you, my whole object here is to make you run more efficiently.
In the interest of forwarding the plot, I'll allow it.
That reminded me so much of TJ Miller. Hey, just so we can forward the plot, why don't you go talk to that guy sitting in the booth over there? All right. Thank you very much, Captain. Science Officer Lane. You don't need to move. You don't need to move me into the engineering bay, but shall we reconvene there?
Yes.
Yes.
As long as we keep the open lines of communication, and for your own, for assuaging your own fears, I will make sure that all communication between myself and Science Officer Nain happens over the complete open communication line. Therefore, everyone is privy to the conversation.
I don't know if I want to hear what conversations Nain is having with robots.
By himself.
Yeah, damn.
So, what brings you here, Orb?
You come here
What brings you
often?
to our ship?
He's taking. What are you doing with that 5W30 oil? Why are you putting that on your hand?
Man, you have a new
Brought back friend of
relationship.
ball.
I was about to
I
say
figured
boyfriend,
I'd
but
run a little defrag. If you know what I mean.
my god.
oh my god.
That was horrible.
Gonna
This
F
entire
just the hell
conversation
out of
is
this.
this entire conversation is cursed. And
It
needs
is.
to stop.
I love
F
it.
just the shit out of this. All right, so
Alright. Now, if everybody would please head to the mess hall, we shall get something to eat, and then continue on with this upgrade.
Upgrades, gray mana.
And I will be along after shortly. I just want to be sure that everything in my office is secure.
Okay.
all right. So you return
Right.
to your office. Everybody else heads to the mess hall. Oh, fuck yeah, I'm good. I'm good. All right.
And then the other thing she does is she actually wants to talk to the orb about medical practices, but she didn't want to like bore everybody else.
Okay.
So while she's getting her hit, she is going to be asking about like what sort of advanced medical practices that the orb has encountered.
You hear this in your room only. I've secured the line for your room. Would you like this to be on an open communication line? Would you rather it be on a closed line?
I would prefer closed. Thank you.
Oh, certainly. Taking over the knowledge, looking over the knowledge repository that you have, Praetor, I can make out the human systems. While our medical system is advanced, please understand that it is operational mostly with our species. But we do have some advancements, of course, that you do not have, such as the successful replication and creation of body parts using a basically unmapped cell. I believe you would call them stem cells. Cloning is not outside of our purview. Yes,
you
we
can regrow limbs from stem cells.
Certainly. Yes.
Fascinating.
I see that your people can do this, have some of that technology, but for some reason they are reticent to use it. Makes no sense to me.
Trust me, it makes no sense to me either. But well,
Do they not understand the curative process? Remapping it to the proper thing.
no,
There are many you can cure.
they like to make money.
Looking over here, yes, I see you have several based off different economic structures. Quite interesting. Are they completely tied to this monetary value of changing and exchanging paper and coin for goods and services. That's very backwards, it seems. They realize that if they work together as a single unit, they produce much more.
Yes, well, unfortunately, not everybody thinks that way.
Pity. They truly are cutting off the nose to spite themselves.
Yes.
Nain, as you arrive, he goes on to talk to you, he, because my voice is using it.
Yep.
But Tridemus goes on to talk to you more about different operations and procedures, comparing some of the things that you have, and you kind of gain some knowledge on how to do things more efficiently. But understand a lot of the tools and things that he talks to aren't, you don't have access to them just because they don't exist, or like they're still cutting edge technology for you guys. Nain, you arrive and he talks to you about, and again, this everybody can hear over this. He understands that the power system, the consumption on the power system is for your technology level is extremely well done. And he congratulates you on the efficiency with which the ship runs. However, yes, science hi-fi. However, there are some adjustments. High-five. No, I love it. Let's do it. So he does admit that there are adjustments that can be made to the input, kind of like the compression part of it, calculating it on a different measure, and he goes over and tells you how to adjust the compression drive to basically function at a higher output with a minimum input. It's as though someone were to tell you cold fusion is real and then provide you with the formula for doing so, and then successfully seeing that it would. You're smart enough to understand the formula given or being told about. And as you make the adjustments, you're like, oh yeah, that makes so much sense. I would like for you to go ahead and give me an engineering roll. You're going to have a +3 because you are being helped by Tridemus. Hell yeah. You work and successfully build out and change the ratios that he mentioned to you. Doing a quick scan, the readout, you can see that the output of the engines is even greater than what you had seen in the past, immediately increasing the speed. However, there is some concern, and Tridemus responds to you quicker than that. Afraid that I don't know that your engines can handle the extra stress. We might have to tell you for the fact that we don't want you to have them explode. So he says they were built under a certain. Yeah, I figured that the continuation of it would be something that you desire. I can see that if we adjust the power output, and he shows you how to basically adjust the power output for a store, basically, like a battery. And then to burst the energy, so that way you have a reserve, and you're not running off of direct power output to the engines. It's always constantly running off of the reserve, building the reserve, depleting it, building the reserve, depleting it. So it's constantly running off of the reserve energy, and you're running at a higher efficiency rate, to the point where life support and all of the rooms can be on at all times and resources. So he actually goes over that. While he's there, he asks you to bring up a schematics plan and starts showing you how to build an FTL engine and what materials you might need and things like that. How much time would you like to spend doing that? He says, I understand that your body is not robotic completely. Anyways, so I can finish the schematics and bring them to your machine directly, and that way you might get sustenance and rest. What say you?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Excellent.
Oh,
I will
hell
continue
yeah.
here and deposit these directly to your system to your computer, and I'll provide that information to the course. Along with that, I'll also design and show you how to build a long communication array that should at least get you a bit closer than what you want. I can't say that the messages would not be 100% delivered moments, but a lot faster than that. Well, enjoy your snack and your nap, sir. Be here.
Snack and nap.
Snack and nap.
Back
All
in
right.
elementary school.
You roll out the
Kindergarten
mat,
again.
lay down after you eat your little bag of fish.
Apples.
Yay!
Boxed milk.
Box milk.
My Cheez-Its. The goldfish they would just like take a handful of and stick on the desk and we'd just eat it off the desk like the little gremlins we were.
Little hands reaching on the desk.
It's goldfish.
Like those cats. Like those cats that meow when they're eating.
Yeah.
Who are we?
All right,
Cat people.
we're getting back around. You
Kudgy.
Oh, yo,
You
shut the
guys-
fuck up.
you all return to the mess hall after you all sat down to eat your Marie. Nain comes in looking a bit excited, I would say, probably, because you just had all this new technology shared with you. But you sit down and eat, and you're all discussing things. The Tritimus comes online. I understand that your species would not be able to survive the trip just due to the time that it would take from here to point A to point B. Since your navigational computer is set up to traverse this route, to continuate, without being enacted upon by another force. In other words, the navigator would not need to be sitting at the computer to constantly run it. If you would all like to return to your cryopod, I can make sure that you make it there safely. And again, the changes to the ship have already been made. The efficiency has already been increased. I'd be happy to watch over as you slept. Of course, with the Praetor.
It's pretty fucking shady.
How about you all take a nap? You hear gas hissing.
My neurotoxin emitters are online again.
This is
everyone in the mess hall.
great.
Skippy,
I
Tane,
am,
Marilyn, and Marilyn is not. Okay, everybody's in the mess hall? Okay.
yeah.
And then the neurotoxin kicks on.
How did you know? Neurotoxins
Because
are my
it's right.
Destroy the
favorite.
cores, y'all.
All right.
Where's the furnace?
Once you finish your meal, of course.
Feels awkwardly aggressive.
Are you returning to your cryopods? Are
Oh,
you
fuck no.
so suspicious
Not
of
yet.
this AI?
Okay, would you not be though? Like, it sounds suspicious as fuck. Like, I don't trust this
Well-
bitch at all.
Let me ask you a question. Is the suspicion stemmed from the player or from the object? Because what has it done so far? Give your character suspicion.
The orb, nothing. But in my past, I have a lot of suspicion because I read too many books. Okay.
So
And I
you're
don't
a
trust
fucking
robots.
nerd.
Well, I'm just gonna say.
Okay, Miss Med School. Okay, Miss
wanted
Med
to
School. I
say-
had no hobbies.
I had
Go
no
on.
life.
Um,
Was just a
it's been-
boring.
it's been very established that Tane watches a lot of sci-fi, and that is a large part of his character. So yeah, Tane really does not trust
That is
AI,
valid.
and while he understands, and again, he's not stupid, but he is basing a lot of this off of what he knows about sci-fi, and what he's seen in sci-fi is that robots kill people. So
See, this is one thing we can agree on. Sci-fi,
Yeah.
robots are evil.
All right, Nara, what is your take on the Tritimus?
She trusts it. It's done nothing but help them. The
Skippy?
medical knowledge that it's provided her with has
Yeah.
been phenomenal. And yeah, no, she's inclined to trust it.
All right, Skippy.
Skippy is inclined to trust. He completely understands why people are a little leery.
Sure.
But he's convinced the thing could take over the ship whenever it wanted to. So if it was
He's
going
like,
to do something
damned
nefarious,
if you do, damned if you don't, right?
yeah, you know,
Yeah,
if it
we're
was gonna do
fucking
something
dead
nefarious,
anyway. Who cares?
takes over the ship, you know, with a snap of its fingers, so to speak, and invents the atmosphere. It's got a ship; it can go where it wants to now.
That's valid.
Quentin.
By the same token, it is still basically a stranger
Yeah,
offering to
true.
drive you somewhere while you nap.
We just
Don't
picked up a
Uber!
hitchhiker.
Like that.
You know,
He's on
it's a
Uber.
very
Who
stranger.
looks like you look sleepy. Won't you? I'll drive for a while.
Well, you know,
Shoot.
Share
the stranger
the
shows up. The stranger
load.
has saved our lives, and now he's going to drive. Now he's going to drive us somewhere. So inclined to trust, but you know, understands caution.
Sure, I understand. What about Quentin?
Not very trusting, just because
Just
of
like
the
Quentin's
information.
nature.
Just Quentin's nature, just to not trust anybody. No, I mean, Quentin probably wouldn't trust it very much, just because of the information of the last time that the orb was with somebody. There was this giant fight, and was the fight for the orb? Was the fight just between races? Was the fight? I think that
That's
would be
valid.
Quentin's mindset.
Yeah, Quentin wouldn't know what was there. He just saw a fight going.
He just saw a fight going on, so his brain is just kind of roaming over things. Also, just being, your maps aren't complete. You do know that, right? And it's like, I have worked so hard on those maps.
Fuck you. Fuck you,
Those are
man.
my babies.
Those
You
are my
robot
children.
bitch.
Those are my sons and my daughters and my children and my
This is why Judas wanted me to look after you.
Judas is like, take care of him. He's kind of crazy.
He's really into
Needs
math.
a lot of
I'm
help.
not saying he has issues, but
But
all right. Name. What is name? Or Pelka? What's Name's take on it?
Bucket YOLO.
Nice.
That's the
He
science,
said-
bro. I've come to know and
That is our science officer there that says. "You can't
That's
tell
really
me what to
funny.
do. I have a base. I've got baking soda. I have an acid, and I have baking soda. Boo, bitches.
I
Little
have,
bitches.
I have tried to be cautious.
Nobody
Nothing.
respected you.
Says the man who has jumped on the orb, sat on the orb, picked the orb up, said, "Hey, can we shoot the orb? What would happen?"
To be fair, Nara sat on the orb, not
That's-
Nain.
They did
That
too.
was-
Did they do it too?
yeah, but
Oh,
Yeah.
we don't
okay.
remember doing it, but yes.
They don't remember doing it, but yeah, they did it because they
We did
lifted the orb up off the
Block
ground.
stuff with the orb.
Yep.
Y'all are
They
so
didn't
silly.
interface with the orb, but they did a lot of stuff with the orb.
I love
With
how
the
the two
orb,
science
remember
people are like, yes, let's trust the orb, and everybody else is like,
You
nah,
don't
bitch,
know.
we've seen too many movies.
You don't know, Name. You don't know if it was affected by the reasons or not.
That's a good question.
We still don't know how the Predator was doing the resets.
You do not.
Yeah. There's so much we don't know, y'all. Like,
Hey, try, bro. Try to mix.
Try, bro.
Yes.
Do you, now that I think of it, do you know why we would leave logs on the ship telling us to go get you from outside?
Oh, I'm sure.
You cut out.
You could
You,
that
you were
complete last spot.
Tridomus is like, oh, because
Runs
with my
away.
assistance, you were in imminent danger of your own demise. Had I not interacted, you would have all crashed into a planet in a few hundred years.
You know,
See?
that's valid.
That's why I'm upset.
Oh, poor Quentin.
Oh, sweet baby.
oh, why didn't you mention that?
I apologize. I didn't recognize it was relevant.
Why didn't you mention that? Because you didn't ask.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, I mean, apparently we've met before, but
On several occasions, yes. Unfortunately, you don't remember me, but that's understandable. You weren't programmed with that set of memories. I understand, as I explained to the Praetor, that you do not have recollection unless you told yourselves. However, one of the things that we can do is to provide a constant loop using a theory that I don't believe that you're familiar with yet. That allows us to basically reset small moments in time by tearing small holes in the opening and fabric of space and time, and then pushing ourselves back through, which is pretty much what I've done until you all acted in the proper way to move the ship. Unfortunately, in all of that time until now, is to actually try to communicate with me. You are all a fantastic and fascinating individuals.
well,
It was you!
Dio.
Space vampires.
oh God, I wish. I'm writing the game right now. Y'all wanna go on
That
about
was just way too revealing. That God I wish was just way too.
How far away
Listen.
does a space vampire have to be from a sun before?
That's assuming
a
space
really good
vampires work in the
question.
same way.
My God.
But, like,
Well,
Oh no, now I'm not gonna have to write this. Damn it. Okay, I'm writing a note.
yeah, if
Yeah.
a vampire went to space, would they discernibly be like in a dangerous position considering they'd constantly be like around solar bodies?
Space
I mean,
vampires.
presumably.
How about the fact that the Tridemus just revealed that it was the one that was saving you?
That's why I said it was you!
Oh yeah. Well,
Oh,
been
is
in
that
whatever.
Tommy saying that out loud? I'm sorry, I didn't recognize.
Yeah. Oh, well, no, technically I wasn't, but I mean, I was saying it out loud in a sense of like, oh, it was the Tridemus all along.
Yes.
It was you. You.
Well, it's a good thing we've had a good working relationship.
That's one way to put it.
Then, so
I have
my
to apologize, though. There were some unexpected results. Some of the iterations, things went awry. I believe that was a miscalculation on the human action of things. As the Praetor has mentioned, and as I have looked, your things aren't completely mapped 100% of the way. I don't think that some of the incidents that you saw were particularly real, other than it felt that way.
all right.
You mean Quentin and the captain being spaced?
Imagine, if you will, and I will try to put this in a manner of that will be not condescending, because apparently I'm getting that right.
Like, could you disable your condescension module? That'd be great.
Well, you know, none of us would remember the
Check out
hallucination.
sass.
That's true. None of you
Oh,
would
right.
remember
No,
the-
you're right. You're right. Never mind. Disregard. Disregard that question.
We really should have left a more detailed note for us.
Here, I know, he says, he goes on to say, in some of the iterations, real. Imagine if you had a wheel that had an infinite amount of probabilities and outcomes on it, and you spun the wheel every time. When the wheel stopped, you never knew what you were going to get. But then you knew you could spin the wheel again right away and get the result. It's something akin to that. Each time I reset the loop and the Praetor reset the loop, we spun the wheel. It was quite
Praetor,
What?
Yes.
did you know what was in the box?
No. Oh, you're asking the Praetor?
Yep.
Yes. No, I had no idea what was in the box.
So you were guessing as to what could possibly be in the box.
The box was not appearing on the manifest, therefore the manifest was blank. Best assessment was that box was illegal substance.
Okay.
Research known illegal substances. Box was filled with those.
Okay. Thank you.
Nice. Glad the Praetor has so much confidence in our captain.
D.
I mean, technically, anything that's not on a manifest being brought onto a ship should be contraband.
True.
It's a logical assumption.
You don't really smuggle legal goods, generally.
These are all perfectly legal. What? It's just Penzi spices.
Marijuana is not a spice.
If you do it the right way.
We broke them.
That's a spicy meatball.
Martha Stewart. And then we add a little bit of saffron to taste. And just don't forget that sweet, sweet reefer. Just go ahead and grind that over the bowl, and then you can mix it in with the dry ingredients.
Give it that savory flavor. You add this sticky icky.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna be right back.
All right. What other questions do you have for it? Now you've kind of gotten an idea of what was resetting you. The Praetor, but more importantly, the Tritomist.
The orb.
All right.
What happened in some of the resets? What were some things that went wrong, I guess?
Are you asking Praetor or Tritomist?
Oh god. Let's
Welcome to
Now that
having
I've-
two different AIs.
Why not both?
yeah. All of the above.
Whose fault was it most of the time?
Now, let's not point our fingers at anybody.
Let's not point to Pendy.
Praetor doesn't have fingers. Nor
Yeah.
the orb.
They have pointed tones. I will.
Quentin,
Pointed
my dear,
accusations.
she's gonna reach out and just kind of gently put her hand on his shoulder. You're being a little sensitive over a
I'm
mistake.
a sensitive person.
Relax!
I have feelings. I have a heart. I am a human being. I'm asking a
Quentin.
question.
Quentin.
I
Now,
don't know about the feelings thing. Nara got rid of hers years ago, and she's still human as far as I can tell.
Whoa! You're not supposed to discharge a live weapon on the ship. You punch a hole in it. As many fucking shots as you just take, I'm surprised the ship's still in one piece.
Tane, would you care to repeat that for me? You fucking jarhead.
oof. Quentin sits between them.
I already knows.
This is that relationship you see where you got that best friend and the girlfriend. The best friend and the girlfriend don't like each other, but they both love the person in the middle. And it's like,
yeah, it's
they're
like we
just
gotta get
constantly
along, but we're
keeping
not
the other
gonna.
two at bay. But then there's an awesome birthday party where they finally decide to work together and realize that they're not that. They actually have a lot more in common.
It's a beautiful moment for all involved.
Yeah, it's a rom-com. It's directed by John Hughes. It's all about high school.
There you go.
All right, so we have questions asking about whose fault it was. Is that what you're saying?
No, what went wrong? When did it go wrong? Not who made mistakes.
Mistakes were made. We've
I
No,
know
I
it was wrong.
wasn't the question who was the most reoccurring problem in the iteration?
No. Incorrect. That is not the question
I'm
they
pretty
asked.
sure that's what the original question was.
No.
Some of the iterations had bleed over, where you were seeing copies of yourselves in manner of repose or in a state that they may not have been wanted to be seen in. In other situations, modules of the ship were jettisoned and unfortunate events occurred with individuals who tried to access those portions of the ship. There were also incidents where there was mutiny on board the vessel.
Mutiny.
The captain
Okay.
was accused of being not fit for the job and the ensign, of course,
Whoops.
called them to quarter. There were
It
also
doesn't sound
incidents.
technically like mutiny, though. Not if it was legal.
What's that?
Because it doesn't really sound like mutiny as long as it was legal.
But I understand. That was the closest word that I had for reaching that. There were other situations where the crew made the correction, and went back to their cryopods, and nothing more happened until that iteration would have crashed eventually into whatever it is that would lie ahead. I believe a planet is what it looks like, a planetoid. Many other various things. The crew turned on one another and killed each other until one was left standing.
Ouch.
Yeah, those were the most disheartening, and you hear the Praetor go, I agree.
Whoops. Fuck that one up.
We left a note in like the recording about colonists going missing, right?
Yeah, I think we left in the note. We left why we were.
Why we did the reset to the colonists missing. Where do we? Is it on record where the colonists went?
To their maker.
I don't know that you put it on record.
Well, no, like with the Praetor or Tridemus. No.
You're asking Tridemus or Praetor?
Yeah.
Yeah, they say Tridemus says that was a calculation on my part without having someone to operate the actual individual pieces that I needed, and without the captain's capitulation to allow me to access the system to further aid you in the efficiency of your systems. We felt that the only way to completely make sure that you all survived was to limit what I believed at the time was cargo. I realized those were colonists and not just simply
Whoops.
objets du désert. So,
What's our
I apologize.
He's like, what? Sorry we killed those people.
Oh, okay.
What other questions do you have?
That was it on my part.
So then, it is believable that we would be safe to go back to our cryopods while we land on... till we land on the planet. The protocol would be to wake us up, I believe, within 2 weeks of landing, so that we can be prepared with a sleep schedule and whatnot.
The Praetor confirms that those are the operating procedures. That is at a minimum of 2 weeks prior to.
Okay. And if something else goes wrong, they'll wake us up again.
Right, quite correct. Because I do not have access to a navigation system. I cannot write.
See, Quentin? The orb still needs you.
Wow.
Damn. real
See,
savage
you're
from
not a
your
useless
friend.
piece of shit after all.
Tense. So, are you all returning to your cryopods then? Once you've all eaten, digested, devoured.
Consumed.
I'm like sitting. Tane's like sitting there, like eating, and he's like, "Are we sure it's a good idea that we're letting them just like?" Sorry, one sec. Are we sure it's a good idea that we're just letting the computers just do stuff? Like,
Well, the Praetor already was, while the whole time he was sleeping before this.
yeah.
Praetor's
I
not
meant-
also not nearly as smart as this weird alien.
Yes,
Who
this
was
weird
also
alien.
taking care of us while we were sleeping last time.
Right. It hasn't even since we picked it up, and we're just gonna let it do stuff.
What stuff is there for it to do, Tane? It is literally just hitching a ride with us at this point, except it's inside instead of outside. It has helped us.
Alright.
It has helped us improve our engines, if I'm not mistaken. Name. It has shown me some fantastic medical marvels that'll jump our entire medical research ahead light years. Years, if not light years. Sorry.
Is that
Light years is a unit of measurement, but yes.
Alright, look, Atlas.
that's
fuck
not,
it.
that's not how light years work.
Look, Atlas, shut the fuck up, you goddamn nerd.
Yeah, I deserve that.
It'll jump our scientific advancements by miles of.
Alright, sure.
Which
Whatever.
we're going to need with these other races.
I'll yell, shut up.
To
I'm
be
making a
fair,
point here.
They in Star Wars, they're always like, "Oh yeah, Han Solo could run that one belt in 13 parsecs." Parsecs isn't a measurement of time, but we all let it slide.
Who says it's not a
Dashing
measurement of
rogue.
time in that universe?
That's so valid.
Listen, all I'm saying is that I don't trust it, and I don't think we should even have it on board. Frankly, I don't know why we kept plugging it into shit, but I let you guys make the decision since I figured you knew what you were doing.
Well, yeah. We know we can't blow it up, really. Like we've tried to blow it. Like you've tried shooting it a lot. I think.
Yeah, you did.
What
And it
console
wasn't really
got
about
shot?
that, by the
By
way.
the way, what
This is
console
really
got
funny.
shot? We never went over that.
The N64? No.
Now that's a shame. The arm gets
Coleco-
jettisoned.
The
Get that out of here.
ColecoVision. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
No, the Sega Saturn or the Sega CD. That's
Oh,
what the
thank
Sega
God.
CD was that shot. No
No one
loss.
used it anyway, yeah.
no real big loss.
And
No,
nothing of value.
It was because it was stacked up that high off of the main console.
Oh, we're fucking nerds.
They're such nerds.
What? Us playing a RPG with our friends on the internet on a Wednesday night? No.
All right,
Never done a nerdy thing in my life.
cryopods, yes or no?
I don't want to, but what choice do I have? Okay, I'm just gonna. Okay, what
You
would
can always
Harlan
jettison
do?
the damn thing back out into space.
Get it out of here.
But that leaves us vulnerable.
I just want to
We
say,
need the tick. We need the tick it can give us if we want to be able
If
to
we
compete with these other races.
continue on our way, now that we're not looping or whatever, we'll probably die. I mean, let's be real.
We're all gonna
let
die
it be
eventually.
known from a plot perspective.
So-
he can't. He literally, from a plot perspective, Cap cannot just say, "All right, you go in your cryopods and make the rest of the journey safely. You arrive on the planet and everything is fine." That's the end of Alone in the Void. Thanks for coming by, everyone.
Why
Or he
can't
had-
I say that?
What?
Why can't I?
You can, but you're not
He's
gonna.
he's like, bitch, try
This is
me.
only episode 9.
Cap,
You gotta go for
I
at least
feel
10.
like
I'll
nothing
cancel
here-
this.
Cap,
Don't
let's be
fucking-
honest. You could, but you're not going to because mentally torturing us is a lot more fun.
What else would I do with my Wednesday nights?
That's true.
We literally
trick
went
is-
from Curse of
Connie
Strahd to
hasn't gotten
this.
to punch anything yet.
Experimenting on animals is wrong, but fucking with your heads every Wednesday night is perfectly legal.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
we went from Curse of Strahd to this.
Hey,
Yeah,
at
thanks
least
a
you're
lot,
not being chased
asshole.
by a vampire.
Well, it's
Right.
horror Wednesdays, you know.
We
Oh,
went from
God.
vampires to space
Ooh,
to space.
what if it is Horror Wednesdays?
Please
I
no.
like
I
this.
can't
Yeah,
handle
all right.
it.
Yes!
I want to play in a non-horror campaign at some point.
Never die.
Oh.
Space vampires, you say?
Atlas, you sound
Yes,
so
yes.
fucking sad. Okay,
All right.
Nara
Okay,
is going
we're
to
getting-
suggest to go back to the cryopods due to the fact that there's really nothing else for us to do, and if we stay awake for another 80 years, we're just going to be old and decrepit by the time we land.
If I stay awake,
Or
I'll
dead.
probably die. If I sleep, I'll probably die.
Woo!
You'd rather go.
Sleeping while dying sounds a lot better. So let's.
Yeah.
You're
go
over
sleep.
100 now. You had a good run.
Yeah, I know.
Actually, we're all over 120.
Yeet.
And we're looking great.
Right?
We are.
Yeah, the cryopod has really great moisturizing systems.
Mhm.
Oh
Keep your
fuck
skin
yeah!
nice and
Gotta keep up with my routine, you know.
nice and
Mhm.
supple.
Mhm.
Like a well-worked leather bag.
It lightly mists us with oil every morning.
Moisturize me!
And
That's exactly what I was
um,
thinking.
we mourn her with a traditional ballad. Dun, 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 dun,
Thank
dun,
you.
dun, 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 dun.
So,
And then Twitch got flagged for copyright. The end.
so climbing into the cryopods, then
I guess.
Yeah. Yes.
Good night.
Wait, can I ask one more question?
No.
Wait,
course.
no, we didn't. Never mind. Never mind. It have to do with memory, and our memories are no longer. Never mind. Bye.
Snooze.
I wanted to know why my cryopod was just being an asshole, but it was fine whenever we woke up with this new iteration. So
no, it wasn't. Remember your iteration, you reset.
yeah, but we were. So it wasn't. So I
Mhm.
can ask that question.
Yes.
Mhm.
What is wrong with my cryopod?
Why is my cryopod an asshole?
And why is the captain sleeping longer than everyone else?
Why is she so tired?
Because
All
Jack
of
is
y'all
Because she has
motherfuckers.
to
Yeah,
deal
you
with
can
all
always
of you
something.
shit stains.
Because I'm busy and or otherwise indisposed. And we need some reason to keep me out of here.
You asking the praetor or Tridemus?
Probably Praetor. Both. Praetor first. Then if I don't get the answer I want, both.
Like asking dad first if you can go out to play.
And Dad tells you to
Go
ask
ask your
Mom.
mother. Yep.
The praetor responds with a yawn. Sorry.
I was gonna say he's tired.
Maglock on door seems to be working inefficiently. Would suggest having science officer Name look into operational functionality of Maglock. Basically, it's broken. You need to have your science officer look at it to fix it.
Nane, help.
Okay.
I would like that.
I'd like to not pound on the door to get out.
I would not like to have a panic attack every time I wake up.
That's fair.
That's valid.
That's reasonable.
Mhm.
We
Science
work on
officer
that.
Name. I noticed that in your systems, understanding that I haven't accessed them, that your engineering systems seem to be matched to your cryopods. If you like, I can take a look at the system itself to see if I can correct the problem with the magnetic.
Nah, it's fine. I'll poke around with it.
Certainly, as you wish. If you need my assistance, please understand that I'm right here for you.
Every breath you take.
Don't mind me. I'll be sitting here with the praetor.
So maybe we'll just be.
Having a little
Watching.
sleepover.
While you all sleep so peacefully in your pods, oblivious to everything going around you.
Stop talking.
We just get a bunch of baby
Don't talk to me
AIs
again.
when we wake up in 80 years.
No.
You now have to voice at least 67 children AIs.
We have to why not make it 69, you coward?
I didn't think. I was gonna say 16, and then I'm like, no, make it bigger.
Do you
Make it
want
bolder.
backstories, individual voices, everything like their attitudes and personalities?
I just don't want to change AI diapers.
We're all considered like the fucking aunts and uncles or grandparents.
Oh,
We're
this
just sitting
one
there
bit
like,
his pants
ow! I don't want to babysit.
It bit his pants.
Oh my
Have,
god,
like, a
I
bunch of
stopped
screens.
paying attention for 2 seconds and I click back in and y'all are talking about AI diapers? What the fuck?
Alright,
You missed it. We're grandparents,
All
all
right.
of us.
Dane, give me an engineering roll. +1 because you do have your tools on you. Okay, yeah, you find that the relay on that particular lock seems to have a short in it, or it's trying to cross a jump. You rewire that piece. It takes just a matter of moments, and you see that it's working. You can ask the Praetor or the Tritimus to look at it to verify the functionality, if you'd like.
Well, I'll ask the Praetor to do that.
Functionality of Maglock seems to be at 100%. Delay and relay is no longer.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Nara also wants to check the cryopods before we go back into them, just to make sure that all of the essential nutrients, etc., are in and working in proper order.
I'm already in there. Fuck y'all.
Give me.
Already stripped, clothes thrown away, laying, starting to shut the door.
Butt ass naked. I don't even care.
Not the first time you would have appeared in the ship butt ass naked.
Whoops.
All right, let's see here. Our medical officer. I would like for you to give me. Yeah, we'll just make it a medic check. However, you can actually, because Nain is there working with you, like looking at systems, I'll give you a +2 on that because he's checking the electrical, the engineering part of it. There you go. There it is. Okay. Everything seems to be in order.
Then she too is going to strip down to her skivvies and climb into the cryopod.
Okay, in you go.
I'm keeping the sweater on.
Aw.
Just all.
Well, okay, no, like with the whatever down to the shorts, skivvies, whatever. But he's keeping the sweater.
Okay, who is last into their pod?
Probably Tane, just because he's really not feeling great about this whole thing.
Okay.
I have a bad feeling about this, guys.
I'll like
Yeah.
climb in,
Feeling
but
about
keep
this
the door
too.
open.
Okay.
He's gonna wait.
Everybody climbs in. You hook into the necessary machinery. You feel that initial biting cold. And you start to feel the lethargy that creeps in. Tane, everybody else is already fading out. You can see that they're in deep sleep as you look over last time. Kind of not really like a cross, but where you're ranged, you can see Quentin's. You kind of worry for a second. And as sleep takes you, you hear, "Excellent. Resting now." And that's when darkness takes over.
Can you repeat that? I didn't catch it.
Excellent. They're all resting now.
Not necessarily creepy.
Fucking knew it.
Not necessarily creepy.
Tane's last word is shit.
I love that Jack is mouthing off to me right now, but is muted, so all I see is.
You're
Just like
And you're
muted.
still
Listen.
muted!
This is what happens. I have a I have a mute button on my mic, and it's
It's like watching somebody
you
go
have
off
to
on
stab it. Okay, let me just go off for a second. If you are already suspicious and you heard that shit, would you not shit your pants?
I literally. Okay, Tane's mouth is frozen in the T on shit. That is the last word he says before he knocks out. It's just like shit.
Look, all it is the orb and the praetor want to get it on, and now the parents are asleep. So they can't get it.
Ah, yes, finally.
You've went back to visit your parents. You're in the downstairs guest bedroom, but it has that really creaky bed, so you're just like,
No!
Jack's saying that because they know what it's like in that creaky bed in the basement room that the parents can hear upstairs in their room.
You gotta be quiet.
Mm.
All right.
We fucked up.
We did a goof.
Ultimate upsetness.
I knew
You're
it.
not
I knew we
sure
shouldn't have
how much
fucking
time
trusted
passes
it.
because you're in cryo sleep. You awaken not to a klaxon, a warning bell. You awaken to
Sick beats.
Sunshine.
Darude
Sunrise.
Sandstorm.
they're having a huge
But played on the toy horn.
the cryo fades and first in, first out. You start to wake up. Tane, you finish your
As soon as I'm conscious, I am out of that bitch.
yeah, you burst through the
finish your
door.
shit.
I yell, I knew it!
There is standing in front of all of you as the doors open. No problems. Your door opens, Quentin, without having to jam it.
Dope.
There is a figure standing in front of you.
What is it?
It
I
looks
pulled
like
my
a
gun.
human.
Do I still have my gun on me?
No.
Damn it.
Why
You
would you
just
leave
whip
with your
Whip it out,
gun
blam, blam, blam,
in the room?
Because Tane's an idiot and probably would forget to take it off before going into cryo sleep.
Before you
He
stand,
doesn't,
there appears
but-
to be a human figure stands
This one is
roughly taller than Quentin, not quite as tall as Tane, not even close. So probably around Skippy's height or maybe Nane's height. It seems to be made out of shining material,
Oh
like
shit!
metal or a combination
Did
of
it-
metal and carbon fiber.
Travis,
Did
is
it-
that you?
Ah, I see that you've awoken. The mouth doesn't move. It's just like an implicit mask of a face.
That's even worse.
What up, homie? That's a glow up.
I rolled a I rolled a punch it right in the face.
Okay, give me a melee roll.
Sexy. All right, one sec.
So fucking time to shine.
Do it.
Come on, it's
Punch the
fucking
fuck out of
freezing.
it.
It's on your sheet, on your skills. Melee.
Yeah, no, I know. It just froze. Oh, there it is.
Oh.
You drive forward with your fist to punch. As you do, it steps back, puts his hand up, and just like rolls your hand around and then throws it off.
He's a
And
century
says-
study kung fu.
There's no need to become violent. I promise I'm not harmed you. You're all perfectly alive and well. I woke you because you've arrived.
Let's try to miss, guys. Why are you trying to punch him?
It made
Because
it like a kid in a candy shop.
there's
Yeah.
literally a fucking robot standing in front of our cryopods, and it sounds like that alien thing we just brought on. And I heard it say something about, "Oh, they're asleep now, so we can do whatever the fuck." And I punched it because that's what you do if you fucking know what you're talking about.
As
Pretty
you
sweet.
watch,
Don't question
you watch as another one comes in. It seems to walk a little more unnaturally.
I'm
Oh my
going to
God,
bet
there's
that's
another
the
one of them.
Praetor.
And
Praetor?
she looks up, and you've awoken. Welcome.
I told you they couldn't
I-
get it on until they had bodies.
I have full body chills at this point. I'm just
Tony
like,
climbs back into his cryopod.
Tony, no, don't leave me here.
Nara,
Just like, bye,
Tritmus
everyone.
looks at Praetor and says, I made this one first and his secondary. Unfortunately, the AI being as rudimentary as it is, has a little more of an issue struggling around. However, quite capable of carrying out any functions that you need in a physical format. While you were asleep, nothing happened, just so you know. And other than, this. However, I felt that to maintain the functionality of the ship, that it would probably be more appropriate if there were a physical form of that. I understand that this might be alarming, but I try to make it as close to human simulation as I can.
It's
And
fucking
to make sure that
creepy,
you
is
weren't
what
just seeing me, I of course made one Praetor.
Nara is walking around them very carefully, like poking and prodding as the medical officer is wont to do, like inspecting these bodies.
At the
Nara, don't touch it. You
joints,
don't know where it's been.
at all of the joints where you and I would have bone, sinew, and tendon, you can see silicone and rubber banding that allows the arm to move. The shielding itself, so like around the arm where the skin would be and the major bones, it seems to be metal plating in most places. However, there's a mix of carbon fiber. And what's really interesting is that the Praetor, the metal or the substance that it's made out of, is different from the substance that, the Tritimus is made out of a different substance than the Praetor. As a matter of fact, the Tritimus seems to be made out of the same material that the orb was made from.
Where's the orb?
Tritimus, how did you make these?
Well, mine is a function of the metal that was the original Tritimus shell.
So your orb shifted into this humanoid being.
Oh, no, I dismantled it and rebuilt it.
How did you do that
With
without
what?
hands?
Y'all don't have arms.
Oh,
I
shit.
have no arms, but I must build.
Yes. I apologize. Science Officer Nain was a bit helpful.
Just
In
took
that.
his arm while he was sleeping.
Oh, no, that is on. I would never do that. I took his whole person.
What the fuck?
I'm sorry, you did what?
Well, he was the only one capable of assisting me in this matter.
Did
And
you
he already has
So
experience.
he got to stay up and play while we were all sleeping.
I bet the fuck you did. You'll be a dead son of a bitch.
So
Well,
I bet you that.
well, no. Once he was done, I wiped his memory and put him back in his cryo.
Why would you need to wipe his memory?
Why did you need to wipe his memory of that?
My trust levels are at -2.
0.
I felt it would be
told
more
you!
disturbing if he remembered this fact. Now, looking back on it, I can see how that would be a lot.
Hindsight is 2020.
okay.
But as I can see, as I
Alright,
said, you're
so-
all fine, aren't you?
Okay. One,
Debatable.
just so that I am aware, because as the medical officer, I am responsible for the medical well-being of everybody on this fucking ship. You woke Nate up, kept him awake for however long it took you to make the bodies, or just that specific one, wiped his memory, doing Lord knows what sort of damage to his brain, and then put him back into cryosleep.
I can assure you his brain is perfectly fine. Well, functioning in the way that it was before. I liked it.
How long have we been asleep?
Approximately at this point in time, 84 years. Not
And I'm-
counting the 13 days that I borrowed Nain. However, keeping in mind that they do need to eat and sleep, he did eat and sleep. He's perfectly fine. Unharmed.
Right. Nate, as soon as we get this resolved, you and I are going to the medical office
Harsh.
so that I know that everything is okay.
I'm putting on pants and heading to the bridge.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
I guess I am too, but I am skirting around those fucking
Yeah,
robots.
it's like just like they're here and it's just
Along
like
the wall, like,
The Praetor looks at you in that odd, dejected puppy, except his face doesn't change, but he's just kind of like turning.
Connie, just
don't you
That
fucking
one
look at
Legend
me.
of Korra.
Just
Yeah.
just so I have like a good semblance of this. The Praetor is basically the androids from Detroit Become Human. Or not Praetor. The Tritomus is the androids from Detroit Become Human. And the Praetor is C-3PO.
The Praetor is Chappie.
Oh, I love it. I can't wait to draw fan art.
I just want to say, Tane's freaked the fuck out. Cal is into this.
That's because Cal wants to fuck the robots.
I'm all about those robots, motherfuckers.
Tritomus
I'm
is
revved with you.
smooth and articulated, and the Praetor is smooth and articulated. He looks designed well. It's just that like his actions, his movement are like he wasn't built to walk these legs around. He wasn't designed and programmed for that. So it's a bit awkward for him. He's not saying a whole lot. He's just kind of looking down at things. Like,
Oh, baby.
then we should go to the bridge. And he turns and leaves out of the bridge.
Just like dodging.
Tritomus, were we the first to arrive?
And as far as we know, yes, you are the first to arrive. We are currently 1 month and 8 days from the arrival at planet.
We were supposed to be woken up 2 weeks before. Why so early?
Oh. The Praetor goes, the operating procedure is at a minimum 2 weeks.
Okay. So why are we being woken up a month ahead of time?
What
I
did
was
you
doing
do?
An overnight mask.
The Tritomus says, well, I figured that this would probably be better to give you more of a chance to run more scans, ask more questions, and of course the acclimatization to our new form. It would be more startling to have that ahead of time than having to prepare to land planetside with 2 new robotic forms.
Right. Captain, you might want to think about what we're going to say to the rest of the colonists about these 2 new robots that we now have.
I don't think they necessarily need to know about them. Maybe.
Quentin,
Secret
we have
robots.
some very inquisitive minds within our colonist bay.
This is like first contact. We can't not say anything.
Who moved to the bridge?
I went.
Quentin, Captain, Tane, and I'm sure Skippy. Yeah, Skippy said I'm
Yeah.
going to.
Yeah.
Nara and Nate, are you heading toward the medical bay?
Yes.
Okay.
And if he's not going with her, she is pulling on his
By
arm
the
until
ear.
he
Grab
decides
the
to.
ear and drag him on.
Yeah. Maybe
those
not the ear,
of
but she
you-
definitely like grabs him by the forearm and like drags him after her.
All right. So when you get to the medical bay, real quick, let's resolve this. I'm not going to make you make a mess, but yeah, he does check out. He's fine. However, looking through the logs, the Praetor walks behind you. That odd kind of stilted way that he walks. Log files. Name Collinson. Science officer assigned to Praetor. All medical signs are normal. Sleep log. 84 days. Awoken 1 month and 8 days prior to landing. Kalinara Morrison, medical officer, assigned to the NWC Praetor. All medical signs are normal. Sleep log. 84 years. Wake time. 1 month, 8 days prior to landing. And then he repeats both of those. The Tritomus arrives on the bridge with the rest of you. As you can see, the ship is all in top shape. Giving a quick scan of it, yeah, the ship's normal. Everything seems to be working and operating.
Okay.
The view screen shows a beautiful blue planet, whitish gray clouds covering the surface.
You cut out.
You see land masses on this planet with white clouds covering the surface. Reminds you very much of seeing pictures from space of Earth. The land masses, of course, different. Here and there, you see flashes of lightning across as storms race through the clouds. Your new home is less than about a month away. And you can see it on the view screen. It's gorgeous.
Scanning for radio waves.
Okay. You scan for any sort of communication. There are none that it picks up at this range.
Good so far.
I did went ahead and make some slight alterations again to the engines, keeping in mind that it was just here to efficiency. Merely keeping up with the efficiencies, that's all. Making sure that it doesn't explode because I would like to maintain your livelihoods. Nara, the Praetor moves closer to you and repeats his information that he gave you with concern of the sleep log and that you're both okay.
Yes, thank you, Praetor.
Just
You are welcome.
Like a dog.
Praetor, do you feel
Beloved.
that this was a good idea to be put into a robotic body so that you can move around the ship?
He moves his hands and moves the fingers in like a stilted, mobile way. He goes, unfamiliar. Useful, yes. Necessary, no. Unfamiliar.
How long have you been in that?
77 years.
This is going to be like the end of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, where we find out that the fucking Tesseract or what the fuck ever gave the fucking Praetor a lobotomy, and we're going to have to suffocate the Praetor with a pillow in his sleep.
Oh, God!
Absolutely. Thank you for saying so.
And then he just takes the sink out of one of the bathrooms and throws it through the glass and just gets it into space. All right.
It's exactly how it's going to go down.
Before we carry on too much further, the Praetor says he's unfamiliar with his body. Your sleep logs don't necessarily match what you're being told by Tritimus. Tritimus says that it made some minor modifications to the ship for efficiency, but has a new body.
Who's dead?
And with all of those questions in mind and all of that paranoia building, that's what we're going to go ahead and call it for tonight. Next week, join us again as we just try to keep our shit together for 3 more hours.
We're almost there, y'all. Let's see if we can make it.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. I know it's kind of a wild ride, but welcome to the Tritimus, who sounds disarming, right?
For now.
Once again, I want to encourage everyone. I showed Monday. On Monday, we have a show which is called Foundations of Adalar, which it's starting to take an interesting turn as there are demons and contracts and devils and all sorts of manner of things. Oh, and a mimic disguised as a wardrobe, because why not? I did show off some things that were picked up at a trade show. One of them were the interlocking tiles from Gaming Paper. A big shout out and a thank you to them for giving me those. One side they have hexes, on the other side they're grids, and they interlock and they make a pretty big map. And it's really neat and convenient for having those if you can't roll out your Chessex map. They also don't curl up at the edges because you roll your Chessex map up. One of the other things that I got was Dungeon Crawl Classics RPG, which they are coming out with a 5th edition version of the Dungeon Crawl Classics. You can marry your adventures from there to 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. Another product that I picked up was the Rolled and Told, which is a magazine format. So it's like a zine format that has an adventure and a comic and the map and everything that you need to run it off of. And it's just a little convenient, just slightly larger than, or about the size of a comic book, about 64 pages worth. You should check that at your local gaming store. And of course, again, as I'm going to demonstrate, the Expanse RPG. It's not like I'm getting money for advertising this. God, I wish. The Expanse RPG, which is a science fiction RPG based off of The Expanse, the television show. I really encourage you to go find a copy of this if you can and take a look at it. I've been looking over the last few days, and it's fantastic. It's really easy to get into if you've played an RPG. Next Monday, again, we have Foundations of Adalar. Monday. Go ahead and apologize now. I might be extremely tired because I have a lot going on during the day, and since I'm working nights right now, it's kind of I'm gonna get about like that much sleep. But we'll be there Monday from 6 till 9 o'clock p.m. Central Time, and then on next Wednesday, we'll be back with episode 10. That's right, episode 10, Alone in the Void, where I make robots and cause people to question their trust and loyalties and paranoia. On this coming Friday, if you're in the Huntsville area or near there, I would really encourage you to come by Lucky Dice Cafe. $20, you can have dinner and a movie, but where you're the star. With Adventure Night, where we run a different campaign. This Friday, it's going to be, not a campaign, but a one-shot. This Friday, it's going to be 7th Sea 2nd Edition from John Wick Presents Press. It is a fantastic story-based, story-driven RPG. It is literally... I describe the scene, you tell me what you're going to do based off of those actions. You may roll, may not. It's pretty much an automatically succeed kind of thing. And it's great for building these really awesome scenes and doing storytelling RPG style. So if you're in the area, I really encourage it. And who knows, we might even have to show up one day on our Dire Bear Adventure 7th Sea. I want to thank again, as we dealt with all of our technical issues and we finally got those ironed out. I can see everybody with the exception of Jason, but I do want to thank Atlas, who was playing Tane, Jack, who was playing Marilyn, Maddie playing Nara, Jason playing Skippy, V playing Quentin.
God damn it, Atlas.
And Pelka, who is playing as Maine. Thank you all. We love you guys. Until next week, keep on trucking through the space.